You were about to give up your search when you noticed something in the corner of your eye. The familiar shade of CROWE's indigo vest torn to pieces? The iron-smelling liquid's thick texture made you feel pure disgust as a shiver ran down your spine. No! What's up guys, it's your girl Shonyx and welcome back to the Kid at the Back. This is the game where we go to a school and we low-key have to choose between our best friend and the secretive kid at the back that, doesn't really talk to anybody. Last time we did Saul's route, the kid at the back, but now this time we're gonna do the best friend route. Let's go and do CROWE's route. Now this is a mature game with mature themes from a mature audience. Don't go looking for this game if you're not of age. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. It was many a year ago in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabelle Lee. Day 1, the beloved. In class dismissed. By our next meeting, I need a full report on everyone's poem that they have chosen. I will not accept one paragraph. I need 2 whole pages filled with words. Everyone got that? The classroom broke into a series of "Yes, Professor," while some spared no time in packing their things, eager to be dismissed and disregarding the teacher altogether. Your literature teacher packs up her own things and exits the classroom. The moment your literature teacher left, the classroom broke into small groups as each student gathered up to meet with their respective cliques. Some engaged in conversation, while some spared no time in exiting the classroom. A yawn escaped your lips. Standing up from your seat, you were about to grab your bag when you felt a tap on your shoulder. Turning around, you came face to face with cobalt blue eyes, her blonde hair shaped like swirls, with its ends dyed in blue and pink, complementing her entire ensemble, even if it's just a white button-up that clearly looks just a little bit too small for her. Hot pink jacket tied around her waist and the school's black skirt. Her hand, which you assumed was the one that tapped your shoulder, hung up in the air. She seemed unsure whether to continue or not, judging from the way her eyebrows furrowed downward while biting her glossed lower lip. She turned slightly, her head not fixed on you, but rather on whoever is behind her. You hear her whisper something under her breath before eventually composing herself and turning her focus solely on you now. Hey, you're gonna eat lunch with us, right? I mean, you should. I don't usually see you in the cafeteria often, so you must not be eating properly and you probably don't have any friends. How can you keep up with classes looking like that? Excuse me? You took a step back, clenching the strap of your bag as you glare at the blonde woman before you. Who was this woman? Who does she think she is? Judging from the woman's expression, she finally came to realize the words that came out of her mouth. Brittany. A familiar voice interrupted the two of you. You turned your head to see where the voice was, and there stood none other than your old friend. That's really insensitive of you. Imagine if someone else told you about how you look. His familiar orbs are of azure blue, nearly replicating lapis lazuli's, and his chocolate brown hair tied loosely in a low braid. Sun-kissed skin enhanced his handsome features, adorned with a black long-sleeve button-up and an indigo vest to add to his clean look. He is known as Jericho Ichabod, CROWE for short, the class representative and a super close friend of yours. Well, the only close friend you have. CROWE made his way to your side. With a hand on his hip, he reprimands the blonde-haired woman next to you, and the said woman just shrugged her shoulders. You placed a hand over your beating heart. The close proximity between you two caused the blush to appear on your cheeks. No matter how many times you get close to him or him getting near you, you'll never get used to it. This whole aura just gives a warm feeling in you, the butterflies in your stomach thrashing and raging, begging to be released. Yeah, you may have a little bit of a crush on him, just a little bit though. The woman named Brittany just rolled her eyes, seemingly used to CROWE's reprimands. Well, you're the one who insisted on me initiating the talk. You could have done it more nicely, like a simple invite alone. CROWE gives you a small smile while handing out something to you. You look down to see it. It was your ID. You dropped this, by the way. All right, I am Sean, and my last name is Nyx. I think that's what I did last time. Your fingers briefly brushed against his. You bit your lip and muttered a small thank you before pocketing your school ID. CROWE gives you a closed-eyed smile, returning with his own thank you, then turns his attention back towards Brittany. Following up behind Brittany are 3 more people! The tallest of the 3 is a sporty-looking man, clad in a green and yellow jersey with the number 10 settled in the front. His eyes are a bright green, the color that kind of reminds you of green apples. His skin, a beautiful brown that nearly matches his curly hair, while a stubble is nestled on his chin, indicating his maturity. The second tallest is a man in a purple hoodie. His eyes are sharp and slanted with long lashes, adorned with teal-colored orbs underneath. His hair straight and styled into a hime cut, save for a short strand tied with a red ribbon, and a low ponytail bound with the same shade of red behind him. He looks uninterested with what is going on at the very moment. And the last but not the least is the shortest of the three, maybe within the group as well. Her skin pale, her face dotted with few freckles then and there, as a rectangular-shaped frame shielded away orange orbs. Her hair is short and loose like waves. She wears a black button-up under an orange vest and a black skirt matching Brittany's. Dang, Britt, you sure are bad at socializing. Hey, Gio, seems like you have competition. The tall jock clad in a yellow and green sports jersey lets out a loud laugh, causing some students to turn to look at him. Brittany's face grows red from embarrassment. Gritting her teeth, she crossed her arms while tapping her foot on the ground. This only made the jock laugh even harder. Shut the F up, Daryl! You're causing a scene. Also, if you were me, you would have done just as badly. That is in fact not true. I'm a lovable guy. Oh yeah? As the two argue, you turn your head towards the other tall male in a hoodie. Sensing your gaze, he looks down at you, his hand still in his hoodie's pocket. Okay. Cool. A sudden chill went down your spine. You quickly averted your gaze away from the imposing male, landing on the meek girl in orange right beside Brittany. She hasn't spoken since she arrived with the two males, but judging from how attached she is to Brittany, you're guessing she's closer with her than the rest of the group. She kind of reminds you of yourself when you were still new to the school with no one to talk to. Not until CROWE befriended you, of course. Were you as clingy to CROWE back then as she is with Brittany right now? Sorry, they're kind of a rowdy bunch, huh? I hope you're not too overwhelmed. They sure are. Something. Look, Sean, you're still free not to join us for lunch if you're uncomfortable. Meeting new people is overwhelming. I just want to let you know that I respect your feelings and that you matter, Sean. CROWE reassures you with a worried smile on his lips. You turn back to the group, the tall jock named Daryl now bothering Gio with an arm around his shoulder. The visible irritation on Gio's face did nothing to sway Daryl's happy-go-lucky personality. Brittany leans on one of the desks with her arms crossed, striking a conversation with the bespectacled girl next to her. What's her name? I didn't seem to catch it last time, and I definitely forgot. CROWE glances at where you were pointing at. Okay, let me guess. Her name was, what was her name again? Ooh, what was it? It was Angie. Jessie. My bad. She's best friends with Brittany. She kind of reminds me of you back when we first met. All shy and quiet. Only that you're cuter. CROWE pinches your cheek playfully and you groan, but your mock annoyance is betrayed by the small smile that forms on your lips. I'd be cheesing. How time flies, huh? That's right, you got yourself acquainted with CROWE in your sophomore year. Before you left for the city, your father emphasized the importance of having companions and establishing friendships, most especially in this college. Olympias University, the largest university in Titan City. It is known for having the best facilities and the best education, where you're guaranteed to rise from the top to the bottom. Well, that's what the advertisement tells you. You tried getting to know people during your first year, but to no avail. No matter how much you try to make friends, you're just such a loser. That is until CROWE came into the picture. Among everyone, CROWE was the sole person who approached you with the intention of friendship. Aww. You were wary of him at first. Why would someone want to befriend you out of nowhere? Your past experiences caused you suspicion. You've had a history with people who tried to earn your good graces because you were somehow beneficial to them. You thought CROWE would be the same case, so you ignored him. But then he kept following you, low-key stalking you, trying to strike a conversation with you every now and then and every day, every single day. You tried to dismiss him, ignoring his presence as usual, but CROWE was determined to break down your walls and kept insisting on tagging along until it annoyed you once. Just once. That is, until it happened on the last day of your first semester in your sophomore year. You fell victim to one of the school's biggest hidden flaws. If CROWE wasn't there to stop them, you could not even begin to imagine what might have happened to you. Thank goodness you're unharmed. You're concerned about me? But how about you? You're the one who's hurt. Thinking back, you thought he was kind of stupid. Taking blow after blow until the perpetrators got bored and left the both of you. Well, that's the whole point, right? As long as you're not hurt, this is nothing. You're crazy, you know that? And he just laughs it off, wincing due to the bruises on his face. I never got your name, crazy person. It's Jericho. Jericho Ichabod, but you can call me CROWE. Nice to meet you, CROWE. I'm Sean. You brought him to the clinic that day and became inseparable ever since. Right after that incident, CROWE promised to never get in fights again and continues to keep his word on it. You really owe it to him. You look back up at CROWE. He tilts his head. Something on your mind, Sean? Nothing, just happy you're my friend. You know? He looked at you with raised eyebrows, probably surprised at how random your thoughts seem. He didn't say anything as he let your words sink in, and his usual gentle smile appeared on his face. CROWE inched closer to you, indicating that he feels the same way. Brittany must have taken notice of the amount of time wasted in talking and arguing as she turns to you one last time. We've talked a little bit too much. We'll end up not getting any seats if we keep this up. So are you coming with us or not? Caught up in your little daydream about the past, Brittany finally spoke up, catching your attention. You look back at CROWE, recalling his words. Don't force yourself to join if you're still uncomfortable. We're gonna go with them because we're gonna do the CROWE route. The cafeteria is loud and crowded. Tables are filled with students while the rest are lined up at the counter grabbing your lunches. I'm going to buy my lunch. Last time when I played this, I actually took my lunch, so I'm gonna buy lunch. All right then. Daryl, Gio, go find us some seats while we line up. Daryl waved Brittany away, mouthing, I got it, before turning around with Gio, the jock's arm wrapped around his grumpy friend's shoulder, dismissing the visible annoyance on Gio's face. I just don't get why Gio even hangs around them. Come on, Jess, let's get in line.
Yes, of course. You may go first, Britt. My queen.
That's how it sounds like she sounds with her. With haste, Jess trails behind Brittany. Let's get in line as well before more people start piling up. We don't want to end up with the bad stuff, don't we, Sean? You could say that again. You shuddered at the thought, remembering the leftovers from the school cafeteria. With a nod, you and CROWE made it in line with the rest of the student body. While you were lining up, CROWE turns his attention back to you. I'm glad you decided to come with us, Sean. I know it may seem selfish of me to drag you along, but there are new friends now. I hope you don't mind. Say, I don't know or say nothing? Ooh, wait, what should I say? I don't know? I don't know, maybe I'm just judging them too fast? That's alright, Sean. Their first impressions weren't really the best either. Well, save for Daryl. He seems to be the only one who is more excited to meet you. I can tell. CROWE lets out a soft chuckle. I'm just happy that you're giving them a chance, Sean. Your conversation with CROWE ended there, and your focus returned to the line. You thought for a bit. How are you going to fit in with the group? You're still unsure of everyone's personalities, not to mention intentions, and why CROWE just bothered to introduce you to them just now. He wants to hang out with you more, girly. You'll think hard about it later. For now, you hand out your own tray for the cafeteria staff to place your food on. You weren't really that hungry and just bought a sandwich and a box of juice. Just the usual, you thought, whenever you find the time to spend your lunch break here. By the end of the other side of the line, Brittany and Jess were already raving for you and CROWE, tray filled with food in their hands. Once everyone got their food, Brittany turned her heel and walked towards where Daryl and Gio were seated. Move your butt aside, Daryl. I'm sitting there. A loud gasp escaped Brittany's lips. Her mouth opened wide in shock. The food on her tray is now splattered across her white uniform.
But Brittany?
Oops, sorry about that. You should have watched where you were going. Ha 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 ha. Oh, they're so mature. Multiple footsteps came near. A trio of girls shows themselves before you. The tallest of the bunch, the red-haired one, placed a hand over where her heart is and let out a mocking gasp at the mess. Brittany's eyes met with the red-haired bully. Judging from the way Brittany's face twisted with rage, they seemed to know each other. That is not gonna bleach out.
Britt, are you alright? We should get yourself clean.
You freaking... This is my only clean uniform. How freaking dare you?
Oh, look at Miss Claire all flared up. Careful there, sweetie. You'll get wrinkles.
It's not like you're not ugly already. The mean girls coo at Brittany, her two friends behind her laughing along with her antiques. You got a bad feeling about this. The entire cafeteria breaks in a few murmurs and whispers, their attention now fixated on the group of girls. Some stopped eating while some took out their phones, ready to film to whatever happens next. CROWE tried to come in between them to stop the fight, but he wasn't fast enough. Splat! Next thing we knew, another loud gasp was heard. A wide smile etched itself on Brittany's face. Creepily wide. The mean girl's white uniform, now smeared with varieties of wet sauces and oils, matched Brittany's own dirtied uniform. Jess's face filled with shock. The food from her tray is now gone. Dang, she's not gonna eat now. Take that, stain. You freaking food fight! The moment Daryl howled those words, the cafeteria went into a hectic frenzy. Food and drink started flying across the area. And are those trays?
Everyone stop this madness at once.
Where am I? Oh, you're awake, thank goodness. CROWE? You tried to sit up, but a sudden shot of pain went through your head, stopping you. You reached out to touch where the ache was coming from, but CROWE stopped you by holding onto your wrist. Careful now, the nurse already bandaged your head. Don't push yourself. CROWE gently pushed you back down on the medical bed. He takes a lone stool and takes a seat right next to you. What happened? Well, after Daryl started that mess of a food fight, the principal was called in to stop it. Daryl got lucky enough to escape when he did. Gio was nowhere to be seen. As for Brittany, what about her? Well, Jess helped her out to grab a new uniform from the principal's office. And why does my head hurt so much? Someone, somehow, threw a tray, and you were unfortunate enough to get hit by it. Thankfully, I got you out of there before things got ugly. Thanks, CROWE. I owe you one. I'm always here for you, Sean. Never forget that. Anyways, it's around 1:45 in the afternoon right now. I should probably head out to my next class. You should stay here until the nurse gets back. You'll be alright alone here, right? You wanted to say no, but stopped yourself before you could. Yeah, you can go on ahead. You sure? Yes, I'll be fine, CROWE. You've done enough for me today. You gave him a small smile, but he did not return it. CROWE squeezes your hand, quite hesitant to let you go. Eventually, he loosened his grip. He stands up from his chair and walks towards the exit. But before he could leave, he turned around and gave you one last smile. Dazzling smile, like the Flynn Rider smile, eventually closing the door and going out of the infirmary. You groaned and laid back on the bed, feeling the bandage on your head. At least the pain is slowly dying a bit. Hope it didn't leave a mark on my head. You're guessing you came face to face with the edges of one of the metallic trays. Since when did trays hurt that much? Then again, there were athletes in the area, Daryl being one of them. Just then you heard the door opening, the nurse's voice echoing through the room as the clicks of her heels got louder as she drew closer. The school nurse entered, and following her was a tall student dressed in black. Hey, Saul. Okay, let me stop. I gotta focus on CROWE. He seems to be holding onto his left hand. You can see the red streak of blood overflowing. That looks bad. You sure had it worse than me. I wonder what happened.
You should be thankful you didn't cut a vein. How were they able to get past with that pocket knife in the first place?
The nurse sighed. It seems like she got her hands full with another student. The latter, however, didn't say anything as he let out a small hiss when the nurse dabbed some disinfectant on his wound. You sat up slowly, careful to not hit your head on anything else before stealing a glance at the student and the nurse. Your eyes meet with reddish-orange ones. Your heart raced as you feel your heartbeat quicken. What an unusual color. Ah, you're finally awake, Miss Nyx. She approached you with a bottle of painkillers she took from one of the transparent cabinets on the walls before handing a pill to you. How are you feeling, dear? Does your head still hurt? It's slowly dissipating, ma'am. Thank you. She hands you the pill and you take it down your throat. You're free to stay here for a while longer, Miss Nyx, but you need to return to your class as soon as you're feeling better. The way I would fake not feeling good just so I could skip class. You gave the nurse a nod. She in return hums in approval before going back to the taller male in black. As for you, Mr. Brugsmansia, if ever your bandage gets dirty through the day, don't hesitate to come back here and I'll reapply it with a new roll. The taller male hummed. He turned on his heel and made his way towards the exit door before pausing. I'll return to my class now. Thank you for patching me up, nurse. The tall student gives you one last look with his fiery red eyes before making his exit with a click of the door. The nurse lets out a sigh, rubbing her temples, feeling a headache surfacing. I swear that child comes here every other day. Eyeing the clock on top of the door frame, you get out of the medical bed. You thank the nurse and made your way out of her office. Barely making it to your next class, you slid the classroom door open, earning you a few looks from the students inside the room. Turning to the podium, you exhaled a breath you didn't realize you were holding when you realized that your teacher was still absent. Fixing your composure, you scanned the room. A few easels and shelves filled with brushes and bottles stained with acrylic paint guaranteed that you made it to the right class. You make your way to your seat. Once settled down, you groaned, placing your elbows on the desk and resting your chin on top of your hands, waiting patiently for your professor's arrival. Though you couldn't help but notice the feeling of someone staring at you. Art exhibit project featuring various eras of art as part of our thesis. This time we're tasked with expressionism. Remember, this is all part of your paper, not to mention making a name for yourself, of course. Ho ho ho. More like taking the credit of a student's work and using it to advertise your trashy school. You scoffed at the thought. Hope you all got a partner already by this time. For this term, I'm tasking you all to create 3 works based on the exhibit's theme. This is where you want to throw your desk out the window. How could you forget? You weren't present during the previous meeting and you absolutely knew no one in the specific class. Why are you taking art again? All right. Your father was an artist as he was a farmer. It was all for him. And maybe you can make a name for yourself with your works if you ever, your life as a gardener didn't turn out the way it should. All part of plan B. If that fails, I got plan C and D, and E and F and G, and all the way down to Z. I have yet to make up the rest. Or I guess I'll die. Sheesh, dang, it doesn't have to go that far. You shake away your silly thoughts. The problem is now at hand. You do not have a partner to work with. I want all of you to go to your chosen partner for this project, so I can start explaining your tasks. Eventually, you are forced out of your seat since your seatmate's partner will be occupying it for the class. You curse at yourself. Freaking dang it. You could only hope you're not the only student who didn't get their own partner for this class. But upon looking around, it seems like everyone is calm and collected. Were you the only one panicking here? Unlike the rest of the class scurrying around to meet your partner, you were the only fool who was standing around still. Note on the only one standing because in the corner of the classroom, there's a single student not bothering to stand up in their seat. Their seatmate had left to pair with someone else, leaving a vacant spot. It's the guy in the clinic. I never knew he's in the same class as me. He's not gonna bother with his partner, unless... Hey there! He looked up from his desk and looks at your approaching form before you're eventually standing next to him. It's you. Seems like you're a bit lost there. Do you have a partner? No. Well, just your luck then. Me neither. So, you want to be partners? Put her there! Put her there! Sure, why not? You took the vacant seat right beside him, his book now tucked away, and on his desk is now a pen and a piece of paper, seemingly ready to take notes. Hey, I never got to know your name. It's not quite important. Well, I should at least know what to call you instead of Green Street Guy. He raised a brow at your silly nickname you gave him before slightly shaking his head. Sullivan Brugmannsha. But just call me Saul. Saul? Okay, I'm gonna choose something different. Last time I said it means sun or the brightness. I'm gonna say your name contradicts with your whole glam, not gonna lie. Your name means the exact opposite to what you're wearing, if I have to be honest. Not that you don't dress well, I mean you look good. A pinch of red makes its way to his face. Saul bit his lower lip as he readjusts his collar. I should just shut up. Okay, see, I didn't think I was gonna start being flirty. He averts his gaze, biting his inner cheek. Thanks. You look good too. Okay, I should introduce myself before this gets any more awkward. Oh boy. Well, I'm Shonyx. Nice to meet you. Now that I know your name is Saul. Saul nods with a smile forming on his lips, then returning his attention back to the professor. 3 artworks to showcase. Note there has to be some form of expressionism. Mediums will be strictly traditional. Your professor then proceeds to give other pointers for your project before leaving you and the rest of the class for the day. Everyone in the classroom proceeds to talk with their partners, already brainstorming ideas on what they're going to showcase and hopefully could get a higher grade. You turn to Saul as he took out his own charcoal pencil and a sketch pad for the class. You got any plans for our first display, Saul? Expressionism is about conveying one's thoughts or feelings, right? The easiest for now is a portrait. Let's use your face as an example. My face? This one right here? He lets out a low chuckle. There, you're making a cute expression right now. That can be considered as expressionism. Huh? Oh, but I have this bandage on my face. Wouldn't that hinder the process? I can simply ignore it. He probably memorized my face without the bandage anyways. Or make something better out of it. Trust the process. He seems like he already has an idea on what to do. And judging from that half-filled sketchbook of his, he's quite familiar with the concept of art. Me, however... Alright, this time I'm not gonna be good at art. Last time I said I'm good at art, this time I'm gonna say I'm not good at art. I'm sure you're fine. Everyone starts somewhere. Plus, I can't really judge you since I haven't seen your work before. Along with this danged injury on my hand. Alright, let's not stress that hand anymore. Well, prepare to be amazed. That's the spirit. With newfound determination from Saul's cheering, you took out your own sketch pad and charcoal pencil as you worked with his portrait. Oh, this is gonna suck. While you were sketching up, you can't help but avert your eyes on his bandaged hand from time to time. Seems you're quite curious to know what happened to this, huh? You weren't slick with it either. You froze when he caught you red-handed, just like the red seeping out of his hand. You stopped drawing. Sorry, that was rude of me. It's fine. This is just the usual for me. I've gotten worse injuries than this. You raised a brow at that. Not the worst. If you don't mind me asking what happened? He paused and averted his eyes, but opened up to speak. Nothing much. Was minding my own business. Got assaulted. Had to defend myself. He talked as if it's another normal Monday for him. Your eyes furrowed. He noticed and just chuckled. No need to worry about me. All that matters is that I'm still here. You didn't say anything, however, continuing on with the drawing. Your movement slow and now refusing to look at his injured hand. This school is way more effed up than I thought it would be. The sound of the school bell rang across the classroom and through the hallway. You quickly made a few more lines on your portrait before giving up. You closed your pad and proceeded to shove it inside your backpack, earning you a confused look on your partner's face. Not even gonna show me what you made? It's not done yet! Yeah! That never bothered me. Can I see it? No, wait! How about a small deal? I'll show it to you once I'm done with the portrait, and you still need to draw me once your injury gets better. Sound like a plan? You say with a wide grin on your face, trying your best to convince the male. He stares at your face for a short moment before eventually leaning back in his chair, arms crossed, and nods along with your deal. Do you have a phone? We should exchange numbers and update each other so we can do the next 2 more tasks. Saul then takes out his own phone and asks for your number. You recite it out as he inputted it in his phone. Giving Saul a wave of goodbye, you make your way towards the school's exit. My darling, my sweet darling Sean. See you later, pumpkin. A sudden small vibration came from your pocket. Curious, you took out your phone, expecting another message from Saul. It was from CROWE. Your heart leaped from your chest, recalling the events that happened earlier this afternoon. Can you meet me after class? I'll be at the front gate. You didn't send a reply. Turning off your phone, you quickly made haste to the exit. I just don't know why this girl's not replying. You approached the school's gate, keeping an eye out for your friend. Sure enough, there stood CROWE in all his glory, posture straight with his arms held behind his back, his bag neatly placed on the floor, and his foot tapping on the concrete floor nervously. You yourself were growing nervous with each step you took as you drew closer and closer to him. When you reached his side, you made your presence known with a small greeting. You noticed the way CROWE's eyebrows raised in mild surprise, as if not expecting you to actually show up before him. He cleared his throat before composing himself properly, his body now facing in your direction. You wanted to see me? Yes, Lifting his bag from the floor, he slings a strap over his shoulder and offers a hand for you to take. I'd like to take you somewhere. It's a bit near the park. I'll lead you if you let me. Okay, last time I took his arm, I'm gonna take his hand this time. You took his hand. In return, CROWE wraps his fingers around yours. His nervous smile melts into a genuine and happier one before he leads the both of you away from the school's gate and to the streets. By the time you and CROWE made it to the park, it was already sundown and stars slowly started painting the sky. Is this the place you were trying to lead me to, CROWE? Not quite yet. Come here. You and CROWE make your way up the stony stairs, some red and orange leaves coloring the steps as you and him avoid a few puddles from the rain this morning. We're here. Come, it's a sight to behold. Taking one last step, you see CROWE admiring whatever was beyond him, his smile bright as his eyes twinkle like the stars above. Your eyes went wide in awe upon seeing the scenery before you, replicating the one CROWE has on his face. Not once did you take into consideration the idea of sightseeing within the city. Everything felt unfamiliar, intimidating even. You couldn't blame yourself for feeling so distressed about the idea of traveling, especially since you had no one else within the city to guide you. But gazing at the sea of lights that stretched out before you made you realize that you've been missing much of what the city has to offer. Your moment of silence while admiring the city view was interrupted by the sound of rustling grass. You turn around, finding the source of the sound. CROWE had made himself comfortable, lying on the ground under an old tree. You see his backpack leaning on its trunk. You turn your back from the city and walk to where CROWE lay, deciding to keep him company. His gaze on the starry sky shifts to you as you sit down beside him, and a hopeful smile grows on his face. Judging from your face all lighting up, you like this place, huh? Care to join me? Accepting his invitation, you give CROWE a slight nod that brought joy to his blue orbs. You stretch a bit and lay on your back right next to him, your fingers barely touching. You and CROWE look at the night sky. You observe how the stars twinkle as if the rain from this morning never happened. How did you manage to find this place? You tilt your head to look at him, and he gives you a closed-eyed chuckle before his twinkling gaze meets yours. I take it you've never heard of Lily's myth, have you, Sean? Lily's myth? Crow points up at the old tree that stood above you, then returns his gaze to the stars. They say that this tree that the humans came in contact with was blessed by the gods that guard this land. This very same tree here used to bear multiple fruits. They say that they never rot and are free for anyone to take. Or so what the popular interpretation says anyway. Are there other versions of the myth? Crow shrugs his shoulders. Moving his gaze from the sky back to the tree, he stares at it, as if trying to decipher something just by the mere look of it. There are other versions, yes. Some say the fruits are actually poisonous. Others say it's only meant for the gods and no human must take from it, lest they be cursed. He looks so serious. That sounds quite gruesome. It's no wonder they would rather use the lighter version of the myth. Crow lets out a low chuckle at your statement, nodding a bit, as if agreeing with you. I guess that might be one of the reasons. Hey, Sean. He pauses before speaking again. Yeah? This seems like a silly question. No, lay it on me. Tell me, what is it? Do you believe in gods? This question caught you by surprise. You never thought of Crow as the religious type, more so to be interested in gods. Or maybe he's just curious by the idea of them. This may be the best moment to know for sure. Alright, last time I said I do, this time I'm gonna say I don't. You don't? No, I don't. I believe in one's hard work. Does that count? Crow merely chuckles at your statement. With a hand resting on his chest, he shakes his head slightly as if he couldn't believe he just heard you say that. I don't mind the people who believe in them. I just don't like the way some of them worship the very ground these so-called gods walked on. You scoffed. I believe that everything is made possible through everyone's efforts, be it as a team or as an individual. Their believers only give credit to these deities for everything, and it's an insult to the forgotten people who sacrifice themselves to make things happen. You recalled the townsfolk who endlessly praised and worshipped your patron deity for the bountiful harvest you and your family broke sweat and tears for. Ooh. You watched as the efforts of your labor were all thrown to some invisible being which, as far as you knew, returned nothing but calamities, one after the other. 'Twas only a miracle that you, your father, and the dang farmland are still standing, and your crops were still thriving, even after so much damage. Crow notices the way your brows furrow. He says nothing, but the look in his eyes tells you that he shares your sentiments wholeheartedly. I wonder why this whole question, though, is really relevant to the whole story. I don't know. Is it gonna come back to bite me later? This is why we're two peas in the same pod. This surprises you, and Crow laughs at your visible shock and confusion. Why? You didn't think I'd be a non-believer? I mean, if I have to be honest, no. Why so? You kind of dress like a priest? Crow's azure orbs grew wide as he broke out into one of the loudest laughs you've ever heard from him. He laughed so hard that he had to clench his stomach and wipe at the tear-stained corners of his eyes. He was still chuckling when he unbuttons the first two studs of his black polo. Hold on now! Revealing more of his collarbone to you. You quickly avert your eyes, finding the tree's leaves to be very interesting at this moment as you feel a familiar heat rush to your cheeks. How's that? Less formal? For freak's sake, Ichabod. It feels like I'm seeing a Victorian woman's ankles for the first time. Crow grins at your reaction. It took the both of you a few more seconds of going back and forth with his teasing and you reprimanding him before you finally calmed down. As the silence prolonged, Crow fell deep in thought. About today, Sean, and about the guys. So we're moving to this conversation next, huh? I've got to be honest. Daryl put me up on this little hangout while I was feeling down on the dumps. I think I do have to thank him for forcing me and actually giving me the courage to talk to you after class. He lets out a breath he didn't know he was holding, refusing to meet your eyes. I just don't know if I upsetted you by suddenly dragging you into this group. I probably should have told you about them a long time ago, huh? I'm sorry, Sean. You bit your lip. You suspected that you might have upset Crow by making him think you didn't like the group's presence at all, and that he's forcing you to bend to his will. One thing to know about Crow is that he is never the type to demand, to control, or to be a king, to be a tyrant. You didn't do anything wrong, Crow. In fact, I should be the one to apologize. You speak up without thinking. Crow turns his head to look at you, his gaze swirling with confusion at your apology. I'm sorry for making you feel bad. I didn't mean to be upset. This is the ultimate level of people-pleasing. You did not need to apologize. You swallow a lump in your throat, trying your best to hold the tears that were threatening to spill. And, oh my goodness, and now we're crying. I just thought you'd forget about me after, they're amazing people. Brittany's pretty, Daryl's a fun guy, Gio's so cool, and Jess is loyal. They're a great group. And most importantly, you're amazing, Crow. You're all amazing. But I'm not amazing. I suck. I'm a loser. I don't know if I can ever be a part of the group. You were always hidden in the shadows, no matter how much you tried to fit in. You were never to be considered. People treated you like someone to toss away, someone to use. You were worth nothing but an extra. That's what she always tells you. You couldn't hold it back anymore. A sob escapes your lips, your vision slowly blurring as you feel wet droplets of tears finally sliding down your cheeks from your eyes. For a moment, you saw panic in Crow's expression, seemingly not expecting you to burst into tears. Yeah, we all confused. He reaches out to hold your hand. And suddenly, you feel a pair of arms circling around you as he pulls you closer to him, letting you sob on his shoulder. He says nothing, while rubbing a hand along your back, allowing you to cry, not caring about his clothes getting wet from your tears. Once you calm down, Crow rests his hand on your back, not letting you out of his embrace. You're amazing, Sean. I'm sorry, I never get to tell you that no matter how many times I've thought of it. I just couldn't seem to find the words. But you're amazing in your own way, Sean. You may not know it, but you're beautiful, you're funny, you're quite a phenomena. You can feel vibrations coming from his chest from the chuckle he emits. Heck, you're the funniest person I know. All I'm saying, Sean, is that you're amazing. You have no idea how much tears you've shed tonight. Sometimes you think it's silly and childish to cry over what was probably a trivial matter to some, but the urge to sob returned after hearing those beautiful words from him. Do you want me to call you the Amazing Spider-Man just to prove that you're amazing? That made you giggle a bit as you wipe your tear-stained cheeks. Cordy! With whatever strength you could muster, you slowly pulled away and lifted yourself up. Hey, Crow! There you see the very same man that made you cry by literally doing nothing, just by being nice. His braid came loose, you don't know when, but his hair pulled around his head. Crow stares up at you with serene eyes, remaining silent as a gentle smile plastered on his face. There was nothing but the moon illuminating his tender features, yet to your vision, he seems to glow. He is absolutely beautiful. Oh, how you wish you could blame everything on him. If you could, you'd tell him he's the reason for all the unnecessary feelings swelling in your chest. You'd tell him exactly how good and bad it all feels, the heartaches and the butterflies fluttering about in your chest and your stomach. You want to blame him, but you can't. Ooh, okay, so last time, I friend-zoned him a little bit. I only hugged him, but this time, we gonna kiss him. Now, come on now, pucker up, Crow. You have no idea where you got the guts to do the thing you did next, but the feeling of his lips pressed on yours made the butterflies rattle in your stomach, threatening to burst out of their cage. Your heart beats fast like you've just ran a marathon as you feel the heat rush to your cheeks. Crow freezes against you, and for a moment there, you thought you just made a huge mistake. You're prepared to pull away and apologize, but he makes a move you did not expect. The gentle grip that Crow had on the small of your back slithers its way to the back of your head, fingers intertwined with your hair as he presses you closer to him, returning your kiss with a fervent sense of desperation. His other hand holds your waist in a tight embrace, not wanting to let you go. Out of your own surprise, you break the kiss by pulling away slightly. Crow chases after you, leaning in close to capture your lips in a deeper and more passionate manner than before. Okay, wait a minute now. You feel like putty in his embrace as he cups your cheek with one hand, his lips needily asking for more access to yours. Okay, I ain't gonna lie, like, he wants us. He wants us. In response, you shut your eyes tight and your arms come to wrap around his shoulders, granting his desire by tilting your head against his. The both of you losing all sense of the world as you fell deep into the sensation of your lips against each other. I ain't gonna lie, if Saul is watching this, he's gonna be pissed. He eventually pulls away, a string of saliva connecting your lips to his own. Oh boy! His breaths are heavy, matching yours, and you beheld his red face and hair messier than before. He tucks away a stray strand of hair behind your ear before rubbing your cheek with his thumb. Crow scans your disheveled figure above him. You can see the way his eyes dilute the longer he keeps his gaze on your face. Yo, it's the hearts in his eyes. I knew we were going stargazing tonight, but I didn't expect the brightest star to be just in front of me. Aw, Crow. You giggled at his cheesy pickup line. He's so corny, but you know what? It's cute. Whoa, a confessional ready? I like you, Sean. I liked you the first time I laid eyes upon you. A confession? I couldn't tell you because I was scared that I might lose whatever we have at the moment, that I would lose you. I couldn't bear to live a life without you. Crow, I like you too. I liked you ever since, too. You chuckle at the silly thoughts you recall, the way you've been doubting your feelings, his feelings. His eyes grow wide, jaw falling slack as he tries to comprehend the words that came out of your lips. He blinks once, twice, before a smile as bright as the stars above appears on his face. Is this a dream? I hope not. If I'm in a dream, please tell the sleeping me to never wake up. I want to live in this dream forever. Will this convince you it's not a dream? Watch me kiss him again. You lean closer to his face and place a peck on his cheek. Maybe, but I think this would definitely convince me. He captures your lips swiftly, distracting you when he moves in to bury his face in the crook of your neck to nibble at the soft flesh. You gasp. Oh, wait a minute. Now, people will know you're mine. Did he just give us a hint? Did you know what? Okay. Well, okay, Crow. You definitely are more, bold than I thought you were. Oh, Saul is gonna see that. That's crazy. Crow laughs out heartily at your reaction and you simply roll your eyes. Couldn't stay mad at him. You gave the sky one last glance before turning away, hand clasped tightly around Crow's as he let him lead you home. Crow walks you to your apartment, noting that he kept you out late at night. You bid Crow goodbye after he safely sees you inside, and he gives you a wave before turning on his heel and making his way down the stairs. You close your apartment door and lean on it, heaving a puff of air. You thought about the events that happened today. Meeting the group, meeting Saul, and most especially your little hangout with Crow. Each and every moment is a special occasion on its own. Letting out a big yawn as you stretched out your body. You turn to your laundry, slowly piling up, and scratch your head. I'll do my laundry tomorrow. But for now, you plop yourself on the soft cushions of your bed, getting into a comfortable position and slowly dozing off. I bet you that Saul is hiding in the laundry pile. I don't know, just watching us sleep. And this maiden, she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. The one who loves. I was a child, she was a child, in this kingdom by the sea. Day 2, the kingdom. The following day, the first thing you do is look around for Crow. However, when you try asking some students for his whereabouts, nobody seems to know where he went. What? You tried sending him a message to his phone, but you never received a single reply, much less having your messages be put on read? What? You eventually meet up with Brittany. She seems to be one of the few people closest to Crow, so it's best to talk about him with her. Wait, what? Jericho? No, I haven't seen him. Do you know anyone else that might have any idea where he is? Brittany pondered for a bit with a manicured fingernail on her chin before shaking her head no. I've already asked the rest of the guys. Heck, even Gio doesn't know where he is, and that guy's close to the hip with him. But he said he's coming to school today. Don't tell me he ditched last minute. BS. He would always send me or anyone in the group a text whenever something came up. Heck, knowing that guy, he'd probably send you a text first. You deflated. Brittany gives you a worried look, trying to think of something else that could possibly help you. Maybe you should try checking the counselor's office. Taking her advice, you thank her and proceed to leave the classroom she was in. This is a different route. What in the world? You did as Brittany suggested, but much to your dismay and frustration, not a single one in the council knows where Crow is. Classes eventually start, but you didn't attend. Too determined to know where Crow could have possibly been, you rack your brains as you walk all over the school grounds. What? You were probably too angry to realize you made it all the way to the gardens, the place where you usually work. You scratch your head from frustration. Taking out your phone, you decide to give his number a ring. It was still dead silent. You decide to walk even deeper into the gardens. Until eventually you meet with the familiar chain fence, indicating the school campus borders, barricading you from the forest just beyond it. You rang Crow's number one last time. Ring, ring. What? It rang a few more times before cutting off. You check your phone, thinking that he somehow finally picked up, but was met with a disappointing notification that it was out of service. You try one last time. There's a faint ringing in the distance, but it's not within the gardens. It's coming from outside? Did he get himself lost? But how? As far as I know, this place is all boarded up. Putting your phone in your pockets, you look up and stare at the metal edges of the fence, shielding your eyes from the sunlight hitting your face. You bit your lip. You could climb up, but if you fall, you'd probably have a sprain if you're not careful enough. Without wasting any more time, you start climbing the chain fence, your fingers shaking from anxiety at the imposing height upon reaching the edge. Y'all, what is going on? Going over to the other side, you slowly make your way down, still keeping a tight hold on the fence. Whoa! Ugh! That is until you somehow manage to slip on your footing, causing you to fall down back first. A groan escapes your lips, your back now aching from the sudden impact of the fall, making you lie there and wait for the pain to subside a little. You pat down your pockets, looking for your phone inside. You feel your heart drop to your stomach as you behold it. Oh, man, my phone! I'm such a moron. You curse, seeing a visible crack on the screen of your mobile device. Turning it on, you vomit another string of colorful curses as your phone screen glitches heavily before eventually turning dark. Oh, so I'm cooked. I'm on the other side of the fence. My phone don't work. I can't even call CROWE. This trash is useless now. Shoving your broken phone back in your pocket, you slowly got up to your feet. You looked around. If CROWE was somewhere here, then you better start looking around. Hopefully you can try to remember your way back into campus grounds. Your heartbeat accelerates as you walk deeper into the forest. You've never been here. It was uncharted territory, so you didn't know what dangers lurked. You scan the area around you, the thicket seemingly getting thicker and harder to maneuver. You see nothing out of the ordinary, save for some overgrown bushes and vines crawling on the dirt floor. If these don't get tended to, someone will surely trip. You were about to give up your search when you notice something in the corner of your eye. The familiar shade of CROWE's indigo vest torn to pieces? You feel your heart drop. The air suddenly feels suffocating. Your legs wobble their way to the torn piece, hoping that it was some sort of hallucination, some kind of sick coincidence. But no, this is exactly CROWE's vest, all torn and broken. You search around the area one last time, eyes keener than before, hoping that this might have been some kind of prank someone pulled on you, till your eyes land on a strange and broken down shed. Guys, what have we done? Clenching the torn fabric close to your chest, you hastily made your way to the shed. Thoughts of CROWE invade your mind as you ignore all the warnings waving to your face. The moment you came face to face with the shed, your nose picked up on something bad. The smell of iron. The smell of blood. You rattled the wooden door open. It won't budge. Open up! You look around for something to pry the door open. An axe. Coincidentally, a lone axe was sticking on a tree stump. Gathering your strength, you pried it off its hinges, nearly knocking yourself down with it. How are you that strong? Dragging the heavy axe to the front door, you swing it open, breaking the wooden door piece by piece until a hole forms into it. The smell is now stronger than it ever was before, making you scrunch up your nose. With one last blow, the door falls, the shattered piece of wood now hanging by its hinges as you enter the room. Guys, what are we about to see? You feel your soul leave your body. The strength from your legs disappears as you drop to your knees, the pool of blood staining your skin. The iron-smelling liquid's thick texture made you feel pure disgust as a shiver ran down your spine. No! No! What? CROWE, no! He was in love with us! We were in love with him! No, please, no! This can't be happening. You wanted to rip your heart out of your chest. You wanted to burn this whole forest to ash. Before you lay CROWE's corpse, his head is barely attached to his shoulders, and you can clearly see the gaping injury left by something sharp on his neck. Blood drips from the deep cut, the red liquid pooling around his lifeless body. His eyes were left open, and you gaze at them, wishing, praying, and hoping that his vibrant azure orbs would smile at you again. Oh my goodness, I didn't know this was an option, like a path that could happen. But no, his eyes remain dull and soulless. You mutter his name over and over and over, asking him to get up, to talk to you, to tell you what happened, but he didn't. You hear footsteps behind you, accompanied by the clanking of metal before something drops to the ground. You swiftly turn around, meeting the eyes of someone you never expected to be here. Oh my goodness. He looks crazy. A pair of fiery red orbs grew wide like saucers as their owner beholds your slumped, blood-stained figure. His gaze reveals a mix of surprise, dread, and panic. Sean? No, you shouldn't be here. You need to leave. Why are you about to cry? You're the one who killed him! His pleas fell on deaf ears. Instead, you stare at the bloody hand axe that he dropped, his equally bloody hands and his dark shirt wet with red liquid. He reeks of blood. He killed him. He killed CROWE. You killed him, didn't you, Saul? Saul bit his tongue, refusing to answer your question as he stays put. You can see the way his jaw clenches, his expression now filled with rage. He was going to take you away from me. I've only done something I wished I should have done years ago. So you're not even gonna deny it? I would never lie to you, Sean. But why? Why did you do this? Because I love you, Sean. And I'm not letting that guy take you away from me. You're mine, and mine alone. You're taken aback by his declaration of love towards you. It left a disgusting taste in your mouth. How dare he taint the word love? How dare he throw it around like it's an object? You monster! What? Oh snap! I'm fighting back? You lunge at him, aiming for his neck and pushing him down on the dirt ground. He claws at your hands, not expecting your sudden strength as you unbuckle his choker, pulling on the strap, using it to choke him. You mean nothing to me. I don't even know you. Guys, I did not expect this path at all. You love me. I loved him. He was everything to me. He was my savior, my first love, my everything. What do you know about me? You must pay for what you've done. Saul couldn't muster a single word as he kept pulling on the strap around his neck. Your vision fills with red as your desire to take revenge overwhelms you. He's not strong enough to kick me off? The strength in his hands weaken as Saul loses air. And soon, you felt something sharp. He killed me, didn't he? Something painful. Wow. He killed me. You look down, expecting to see your successful revenge through your classmate's soulless face, but the light remains in his eyes. Instead, it is filled with horror. You cough. Blood seeps through your lips. You look further down and see a sharp blade through your chest. The object swiftly disappears after someone pulls it out of your body. Blood slowly gushes out of your wound. You feel someone push you down. Wait! I bet you... Oh my goodness, I bet you it's his friend. I forgot his name. The one with blue hair. It wasn't Saul. Saul didn't kill us. It was the blue-haired friend. I forgot his name. A pair of hands moves your body. You couldn't care less as you stare at the dusty ceiling of the worn-out shed, your vision slowly darkening. From the corner of your eye, you can make out the blurry figure of the man you've come to befriend the day before. A few droplets of something wet splatters on your cheek. He's crying. Sean, stay. No, please. Stay with me. Another figure enters your fading vision, and Saul takes notice of them. You recognize the blade in their grasp as they wipe it clean of your blood. Your killer. Saul gets into an argument with the guy, his muffled screams reprimanding them. You can barely hear the person's responses as they calmly speak with Saul. What? I knew his friend. Was his name Hero? Hero? I forgot. But I knew his friend was just as crazy as him. Or at least aware. I knew something was off with his friend. I knew it. I knew it, y'all. I'm so serious. I knew it. Keeping your eyes open is getting tiring. Breathing is getting tiring. With one last breath, you flutter your eyes closed. And the last thing you hear are these exact words. Hugo, that's what it was. That's what it was. No witnesses. Hugo, I promise you, Hugo is actually obsessed with Saul. I don't trust Hugo. Hugo will smile in your face and secretly hate you. I don't even, to be honest, I think even in the other route where Hugo's all nice to us, I don't even think Hugo likes us. Bad end, no witnesses. That's actually crazy. That's actually crazy. How do we avoid a bad end? Maybe I should just not kiss CROWE. Just hug him. Don't kiss CROWE. And maybe then it'll balance out. All right, so do not kiss him. We're just hugging him. You didn't feel as bad as before, but your vessel is not completely empty yet. Somehow just looking at CROWE at the comfort he brought you made you want to bask in it longer until you were sure you had no tears left to shed. All right. Leaning down once more, you bury your face in the crook of his neck, and his arms instinctively wrap around you, his hug warm and soothing, as he waits for you to gather your thoughts. CROWE rubs circles on your back, a silent way of telling you that he was there, you were not alone, and that he'd be there whenever you needed him. He didn't say a word, understanding that you need silence more than anything right now. Same stuff. All right, The sun setting by the horizon colors the grassy field into a deep golden orange as the wind made some strands of hair brush across your face. Your ever-beloved home, the tall grass, the fresh air, the various farm animals that you and your family raised since you were but a mere child. You can't even imagine what was happening before you right now, as a group of people came while they talked with your father, your only family member left. You see the distress in your father's eyes as he tries his best to negotiate with the people before him. The desperation in his voice, the sweat running down his neck as he moves around his hand, gesturing this and that.
Please just give me more time. I promise I can pay up. This is all we have left. I don't know where else we'll go if we lose this farmland.
We've given you enough chances already, Mr. Nix. If you don't pay up your debt, we will take your land.
The loud ringing of the school bell rang across the hallway, making you jerk out at your thoughts. Students came out through their classroom doors. You feel someone shaking you awake. You sat up and met face to face with CROWE. Well, good morning, Sleeping Beauty. Hey, CROWE, you're alive! You let out a yawn. You rubbed your eyes as you looked around. Your fellow classmates are now gone from their seats as it is now lunchtime. What did I miss? Nothing important, though if you're having doubts, I can lend you my notes afterwards. Thanks, CROWE, you're a lifesaver. Anything for you, Sean. You met up with your group of friends, seeing Daryl with Gio and CROWE waiting by the lockers, Brittany coming along behind them, and Jess. You waved at them. Hey, guys! Good noon to you all! Regards, Daryl. How was class? I just realized that is so formal. Why is like, regards, Daryl? Like, the freak? Just say hey. Boring and boring. So glad to be out of there. One more useless minor and I'll be out of here. Gio just shrugged, hand in his hoodie pocket while the other is on his phone.
We got to at least do something in our major today, though, which I'm glad about.
More papers, but at least it was something. Enough about papers, about the Halloween party. Any ideas for a costume yet? As they talked with each other, at the corner of your eye, you noticed a familiar figure. It was Saul. He came out of a classroom and another person came afterwards behind him, seemingly bored of his mind. Hugo, freaking Hugo! Okay, so this time we're gonna stay with the group. Last time I joined Saul, we're gonna stay with the group. They seemed pretty busy. Putting away whatever idea you had, you returned your attention back to your group of friends. So, cafeteria? Everyone cringed, not hiding their discomfort. No. Heck no. Not there.
I'd rather not, Daryl.
How about somewhere else? Gio just face-palmed. Well, where do you suggest? Daryl flailed his arms. You thought for a moment as you looked outside. Bushes with a few flowers sprouting caught your attention as it blends well with the red and yellows of autumn. It gives you a sense of tranquility. Garden. That's right. I may know a place. Have you guys been to the school's garden behind? Oh, right. The botanical garden used by the pharmacy course? That could be a good idea. There's a space perfect for our little picnic today.
Isn't that place locked?
Jess peeked in. You smirked before pulling out a set of keys from your belt and dangling them. I just happen to be a volunteer gardener. Extra credit. I didn't know you gardened, Sean. You don't know anything about me. I just got here. Everyone's gaze was on you, curiosity in their eyes. Even Gio's eyebrows raised a bit. Everyone except CROWE. Well, she grew up on a farm. And now everyone's attention was on CROWE, catching him off guard by the looks they're giving him. Of course you know, lover boy. Oh, they're clocking it. Brittany whispers under her breath as she rolls her eyes. Jess just giggled. CROWE's cheeks burned red from Brittany's comment. You rubbed the back of your head. You never really got the chance to properly introduce yourself to them, huh? Considering you just started hanging out with them a week and a half ago. What? I'm pretty sure it's only been one day, but okay, I think they messed up the time framing in the script. These past months, you've only been hanging out with CROWE the most. He was your only friend. Maybe this is your time to get to know them and them with you? Brittany let out a sigh as she turned to you. She moved the picnic basket to her other arm and placed a free hand on her hip. Lead the way, Sean. You nodded before escorting the group along the back of the school and into the gardens. You inhaled the familiar scent of fresh earth. A few leaves danced around the air, guided by the winds of autumn. Before you stands the school's own greenhouse. The greenhouse where multiple healthy greens and colorful flora grow. This place is usually occupied by biology and botany students, with the occasional science teacher watching over them. You worked a lot of odd jobs for the school to lessen your student loan expenses. Your duties ranged from being a janitor to a teacher's assistant, but none of your positions would last as long as you hoped for because you always found yourself somehow getting in trouble for some sort of mess you made. Dang, you suck. What do you mean? You get fired that often? You felt hopeless until your advisor recommended placing you in the greenhouse. With your background and knowledge related to plants, You thought maintaining the greenhouse was a perfect fit. You've been working here ever since. Oftentimes, you think you understand the layout of the place, that you practically know the area like the back of your hand, but every day you seem to discover a new corner that you've never been to before. Sometimes you're not even sure if you're within campus grounds anymore. It's probably because of the forest that stretched beyond this area. Anyway, there's a large fence preventing you from crossing the borders, so you never really bothered to explore further unless you want to get in trouble or be accused of slacking off. For now, you wanted to show your group of friends the new discovery you made while on duty last week. There's a field with a large tree right behind the corner. It can make for a perfect shade for our little picnic. You exclaim, earning a look of approval from Brittany, almost as if she's impressed. The rest of the cast follow behind you as you lead them to your destination. You hear some gasps of awe behind you. Daryl chuckles heartily in delight. CROWE hums, feeling pleasant, and you hear Brittany saying, interesting. They are clearly amazed at the field before them, and it fills you with pride, knowing that you are able to impress them. Well, come on, the field's great, especially the lion. What did he say? Wait, what? What did he say? Oh, he said, let's see what we have here. Owie! I was about to say, I was like, why did it go by so fast? Not yet. Brittany slapped Daryl's hand away from the basket before he could raid the whole thing, making him wince and pout. Calm your butt down, you'll have your turn. At this point, I'll have to charge you all every time y'all hit me.
Are you some sort of masochist?
Daryl gave Geo a side eye. Brittany shook her head while Jess just giggled. It was a cute little get-together that Brittany planned last night. She wanted to make a few sandwiches, so she prepared lots of varieties. On the blanket are a few Tupperwares with some of the sandwiches inside while the rest were eaten. Everyone got their fair share already. By now, everyone is just minding their own business. Daryl is having the time of his life with 2 sandwiches on both his hands. Brittany and Jess are talking. Geo's a bit further away from the group, leaning on the bark of the tree, seemingly lost in thought. And CROWE is nowhere to be seen. What? Where's CROWE? Wait, hold on a second. Let's not have a repeat of what happened in the other day. Okay, I guess who do I want to speak to? Might as well speak to Geo. You were quite hesitant to approach Geo at first. You always saw him as someone quite intimidating. More intimidating than Brittany. It's probably the way he carries himself. His towering height isn't helping either. And it seems like you've been staring at him for too long. He stopped chewing on his sandwich as his gaze met yours. You shivered.
What do you want?
I have questions.
Well, hurry up and spit it out.
Oh, why do you hang out with us? I mean, I don't mean it in a bad way. It's just that I'm curious. You don't seem the type to... I mean, that's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm like, you look like you don't even like us. His piercing gaze made your voice die down. You cursed under your breath. Oh, I think this is it for me.
I get it. But you wouldn't understand.
Leave me to my devices. Now. He demanded before wrapping the half-eaten sandwich he had in his hand before throwing it towards you. You caught it, nearly losing your balance.
And give that to Daryl. I just lost my appetite.
Geo then crossed his arms and looked up at the sky, the chilly autumn breeze passing by him, making his long hair sway along with his washy earrings. You take a look at the wrapped half-eaten sandwich in your hand. I guess I'll never know, you sigh. Well, dang. Well, darn diddly dang. Let's talk to Daryl. Daryl seems to be the least busy out of everyone. You approached his sitting figure as he took a seat in front of him. One sandwich gone from his hand as he munched on the other one on his other hand. He notices you and stops eating, tucking away the sandwich and placing all his attention on you. Here. You took out the half-eaten sandwich you got from Geo and handed it to him. He tilted his head to the side. You can't finish yours? It's from Geo. Really now? Not gonna lie, that's quite uncharacteristic of him. Usually he would either finish it or throw it away. Not that I'm complaining though. Thanks, Sean. Daryl thanked you with a smile and took the half-eaten sandwich from your hands before tucking it away. You got something to ask me, Sean? Ooh, wait, who should I ask about? Let's ask about CROWE. What do you think about CROWE? At the mention of the blue-eyed friend of his, Daryl gives you a toothy grin as he wiggles his eyebrows. You want jits on your little crushie, don't you, Sean? Shut up, I just admire him. Just a little bit, okay? Daryl laughed and stopped his teasing, saving you from further embarrassment. CROWE is quite an individual. All I know is that he's the son of a very successful businesswoman in the city. Wait, if he's the son of a successful businesswoman in the city, then why is he at this school? Because remember, if y'all watched the first part that I recorded, they explained that there's 2 schools. There's the one where the lower class basically is, or people that get into trouble, and then the one where the upper class is. and like the really successful people. So why is CROWE not like at that school? Though I heard he doesn't have a great relationship with his family. Oh, maybe that's why. What makes you say that? Daryl thought for a bit, but judging from his expression, he couldn't understand why either. I don't know either, Sean. You should ask CROWE for that if you want to learn more. I see. Don't worry, Sean. I'm sure he'll do anything that you ask for. He gives you a playful wink. You rolled your eyes, but gave him a smile nonetheless. Thank you for answering my questions, Daryl. Anytime, Sean. You're one of us now, so open up a little. What are your thoughts on Gio? Daryl smiled as he leaned a bit forward. Now, Gio's my favorite guy. Even if he's a bit of a meanie at times. What makes you stick to him? Isn't he mean to you, like you said? Daryl's smile brightened as his eyes went soft. He side-eyed the male by the tree who had his arms crossed. Gio's attention was somewhere else. People are scared of him. It's probably because of his background. What about it? The thing is, no one really knows what his family does other than the fact that they're super rich and that they're highly involved with the founder of the city. So why is Gio at the school? People have seen him with his bodyguards, all rugged and tall and very intimidating. Heck, I even saw one with a huge katana on their backs. You shivered. Clearly, you don't want to deal with them. But what makes you not scared, Daryl? I mean, you clearly know what his family and himself is capable of. You see, Sean, I'm not really scared of him. On the outside, he's all stubborn and cruel, but on the inside, he's a really nice guy. Think of him like he's like a stubborn cat. You glance back at Gio one more time. You're seeing the cat ears and the tail, all right? Now that you think about it, with this vision based on Daryl's declaration, Gio does not seem quite intimidating anymore. How cute. Then you hear a sigh from Daryl. You returned your attention to him, an elbow on his leg as he held his face in his hand. Which begs me to wonder how he ended up being in the lower class with us. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I'd like to know more about you, Daryl. Daryl rubbed the back of his head, quite embarrassed he thought about him. Well, aren't you a flatterer? Ahem. Where should I start? He thought for a while, his legs crossed while you waited for him as he pondered. Well, I am the ace of my football club. I hate my coach, but don't tell him that. I love food, like lots. My most favorite food would be sweets. If you ever got any on ya, smuggles me some, will ya? He says with a wink and a nudge. Other than that, I guess that's pretty much it. Jess. What do you think about Jess? Whoa, wait, he likes Jess? Whoa! At the mention of Jess's name, Daryl's whole face turned red as he started sweating. What about her? I don't know, I'd like you to tell me. What do you think about her? Daryl's cheeks just keep getting redder and redder. For a moment, his gaze turned to where Jess and Brittany were. I did not expect this. He sighs as he looks away. Jess is the sweetest human being I've ever met. Aww! Oh. But don't tell anyone. I trust you with this because CROWE trusts you, okay? All right. I don't know what the big fuss is yet, but I promise I won't tell. Lips are sealed. You raise your hand in surrender. The taller jock deflated on the spot, his shoulders down along with his mood. But, yeah, she's sweet. She's pretty, she's cute. While some would make fun of me, she's always there to give me a pat on the back. He groans, doubling over. His expression seems like he wants to throw up as he buried his face in his hands. But I doubt she likes me back. You tilted your head, wondering why he thinks that way. What makes you think that? The way she looks at Brittany. Don't you think that's the look of someone in love? At that, your eyes widened in surprise. You quickly turned your head to where the two girls were. Well, he might not be wrong. The eyes behind the transparent frames looked like fresh citrus oranges in summer. They were bright, and they were fresh for the picking for Brittany. I know, because that's the same look I gave to her when I first met her. It's the same look I see on CROWE when he looks at you. Oh! He twirled a loose strand from his bangs. He looked away from the two girls and focused on your surprised figure. I hate it, but I love seeing that look on her face. I wish it was on me, though. Aw, man, this kind of sucks. I'm sorry, Daryl. Haha. He chuckled a bit. It's all right. Maybe one day I'll confess just to get it off my chest. All I want is to see her happy, even if it's not with me. Anyway, enough of this sad stuff, Sean. Ask about Brittany. Daryl gives you a proud smile. Brittany? She's my first friend back when I was new to the football team. You'd be surprised that she used to be in the cheer squad despite her being quite introverted. She was? She's introverted? Daryl's bright smile softened, a small gloomy look in it. He was trying so hard to hide it, but was failing. Yeah, she quit right after the game's big frat party 2 years ago. That party was something else since the higher parties were also part of it. The following day, she suddenly quit. I don't know why, though. Not quite worth thinking about the past anyway. I wonder what that's about, but I guess I have nothing else to ask. Daryl gives you a smile before nodding. All right, now let's talk to Brittany. Brittany was minding her own business, seemingly tapping away on her phone. You were kind of shy to come any closer to her. But before you could turn and leave, however, she called out to you. She must have seen you from the corner of her eye. Oi, Sean, come here. Don't be a stranger now. You clearly want to talk. Let me guess, were the sandwiches great? Bro, why would I say I couldn't finish it? Let me just say they were wonderful, Brittany. She smiled at your response. I'm glad you like them, Sean. Anyway, enough of my sandwiches. You have something to tell me? Let's first say thoughts on Jess. Upon hearing her name, Jess's head turned to where you both were. She went, you said my name? Brittany dismissed her, telling her it's nothing for her to worry about before turning back to you. Jessie? She's my best friend. She smiled as she looked at the orange band on her wrist. Oh, that's why she has that band. My very best friend. When no one was there to help me, she was there. You'd be surprised how confident and loud she is when she's mad. Brittany chuckled a bit as if reminiscing a fond memory. I owe it all to her for bringing me back up during those dark times. But enough of the past. All right, let's see thoughts on Gio. Brittany raised an eyebrow. Don't tell me you got the hots for him. No! What makes you think that? I mean, I wouldn't blame you if you do. If you can see how his locker is often filled with multiple love letters and gifts from various people, then I wouldn't be surprised. He's that popular? I didn't realize that. A loner like him, you'd be surprised. Tall, mysterious, and dangerous. Everyone just flocks to him like birds. But people are scared to even get close to him, so the next best thing they could do is send him gifts. They never succeed, though. Is he somehow overwhelmed by the attention? Not really overwhelmed, more like he's uninterested. He either doesn't read the letters and tosses them, or he burns them. Oh, wow. He burns them? That's so mean, and a waste of gifts, too. Brittany just laughed, her shoulders shaking. That's Gio to you. Oh, this is Gio. I don't know why I confused Gio with Daryl for a second. Now it makes sense. Now it makes sense why Gio would burn the letters. How do you know all this? Brittany giggled before giving you a wink as she pressed a manicured finger on her lips as if to shush you. I know a lot of secrets. Anyway, let's do thoughts on Daryl. Brittany just chuckled. You mean that meathead? He's an idiot. She says with a smile, then she sighed. She shakes her head at the thought of the tall jock. He's an idiot, but a smart idiot. I'll give him that. He's like a brother to me. It just baffles me how he barely has any friends. How this school fails us. She shakes the idea before turning her attention back to you. All right, have you seen CROWE? CROWE? I think I saw him go deeper in the gardens. Brittany said with a raise of her brows. Let me guess, you want to finally confess your undying feelings for him? What are you talking about? Well, I'm not sure who is denser, him or you. Whatever, if you need him, he's probably in the greenhouse. Brittany gives you a thumbs up, mouthing a good luck. As if I'm confessing, you thought with a pout. Brittany just gives you a teasing smirk. Anyway, enough of that. She stretches her limbs, letting out a few satisfying pops. She places a hand on her hip. I'll be cleaning a bit. I'll talk to you later, Sean. You don't want any help? No thanks, I appreciate the thought though. You nodded as you stood up as well, leaving Brittany to attend to her own devices. All right, let's speak to Jess now. Jess was admiring a few orange leaves slowly falling from the tree. The slow descent of a leaf catches her attention before gracefully catching it with her delicate fingers. She notices you approaching her. She dropped the leaf before giving her full attention to you.
Yes, Sean? What seems to be the problem?
Oh, there's nothing. Actually, I just wanted to talk to you and ask a few questions.
Then by all means, go ahead. I'll try my best to answer them.
Okay, let's say Daryl. What do you think of Daryl? At the mention of Daryl, Jess's face went bright. This is probably the first time you've seen her smile without shaking like a lost lamb.
Oh, Daryl, he's an amazing friend. He keeps me safe and I owe it up to him quite a lot. Though I do feel bad for him most of the time. Brittany and Gio tease him way too much.
Jess chuckled, looking at the jock sitting under the tree before returning back to you.
He's a funny guy. I remember back when I made the mistake of giving him a bowl filled with candy last year's Halloween.
He did tell me he likes sweets. Why? What's wrong with giving him candy?
Well, he gets a sugar rush pretty quickly and gets super hyper. Brittany tried so hard in calming him down. Can you imagine? A 6-foot-tall jockey going around like a playful puppy.
I bet Brittany didn't have a fun time. Jess nodded with a closed smile at you. All right, Gio. Jess's shoulders started shaking at the mention of the tall and stoic individual. Why does she look so scared?
I hate to be one of those people, but he actually scares me. Have you seen how capable he is with his bow and arrow?
No? Actually, is he really that good? I only know that he's from the archery club.
Oh, then you should definitely attend the sports event next year. Gio's going to compete and the higher classes will be there to determine if the students are worth bringing up.
Another shiver went up her spine, and she wrapped her arms around herself. A bad memory crosses her mind.
Whenever that happens, Gio seems to somehow miss his target and nearly hit someone with his arrow.
Wait, he purposely stays out of the higher class. What the freak?
Thankfully, it only cut the guy's hair and nothing else. He got disqualified sadly, but that was enough for me not to mess with him.
How is he not in jail? You try to rack up your brain for a reason why he's in school and not behind bars. However, Jess cuts you off before you can think any further.
Yeah, enough of that.
All right, now let's ask about Brittany. What do you think about Brittany? Upon mentioning the Gyaru's name, Brittany's head turned to the both of you. She didn't say anything but raised a brow as she tilted her head to the side. You called for me?
Nothing, Britt.
Jess quickly shooed her best friend away. Brittany shrugged before continuing on with her own business. Jess lets out a sigh of relief as a small tint of red raises to her cheeks. Jess looked down on her skirt, fiddling with her pink wristband as her heartbeat quickened. Oh, they both each have a matching wristband.
Britt, she's my best friend, my very best friend, and I would do anything to see her happy again.
She pushed back her glasses and looked at you, and there you saw the sparkles. Her smile is soft and you can tell. Jess, you like Brittany? She was hesitant before looking down, nodding as she did so, still fiddling with her pink wristband.
Promise not to tell?
I promise, lips are sealed.
Thank you, Sean. This will just be between the two of us. Besides,
she gives you a big smile.
I'll keep your oh-so-secret crush towards CROWE a secret too.
She giggled at your surprised look at the mention of CROWE. You rubbed the back of your head as you pouted. Have you seen CROWE? Jess's eyebrows furrowed and she shakes her head.
I don't think I know where CROWE is. Maybe you should ask Brittany. Maybe she knows.
You thanked her. All right, that's it.
It was wonderful talking to you, Sean. You should hang out with us more.
And with that, she gives you a wave goodbye. Now we can look for CROWE. You've pretty much talked with everyone here, and they all seem to be busying themselves. You looked around the garden before moving in deeper into the red autumn wonderland. As you kept moving forward, you were greeted by the greenhouse. Through the transparent glass, you spot a familiar head of brown. You went inside the greenhouse and saw CROWE go through each plant and flower, analyzing each delicate leaf and petal. Noticing he's not alone, he turned to where you were and smiled. Oh, there you are, Sean. What brings you here? I would say the same thing to you. You left everybody. Well, I haven't really explored this place properly before, so why not take that chance? You've never been here before? Never got the time to visit. CROWE chuckles. You meet his gaze and he gives you a soft smile. His gaze lingered a bit before going around. He then found something that caught his attention. Now this is a pretty looking flora. What do you think it is? You looked at the brush of flowers filled with purple flowers. Their petals thin as it showcases its full bloom. This is a passion flower. Fascinating. Tell me more about it, Sean. Well, it's a climbing vine plant. Usually its colors are purple or white. Once flowers bloom, passion fruits will bear itself. Usually a volunteer will come and harvest the fruits. That sounds interesting, Sean. Everything you say sounds interesting. But that's the scientific way to describe this flower. How about its meaning? You tilted your head to the side. What do you mean? How do I say this? He places a hand under his chin. In astrology, each star has a meaning behind it. Same goes with gemstones like your birthstone. Flowers have those as well, correct? I never really thought of it. CROWE gives you a cheeky smile. It's interesting. Passion flowers symbolize hope and growth. I love seeing the hopeful looks on people. He says as he looks at the flowers before you both. Hope. Something this city needs. I want to get rid of the hierarchy. Daryl mentioned something about that. Actually, everyone did. But how come I've never heard of it? What is it about? I never got to explain it to you, huh? I guess now's the perfect time since they're quite active in interacting with us in the lower class again. He looks out. Our school, Olympias University, has 2 buildings with 2 different classes. One is where we are at the moment, the lower class, while around the northern part of the city is where the higher class are. Their education is 10 times better, the facilities are better, and the students are way out of our league. He hesitates a bit in voicing his thoughts of the students in the higher class, though I highly doubt that. He added, his eyes narrowed. Okay, calling it the lower class is kind of low in my opinion. I call them villagers, humble people. They're either really kind or either too busy to bother. There was a hint of hesitation in his voice. Well, not all. The failed students in the higher class often end up here with us, and well, they don't really take it well. Which explains the bullying situation. CROWE's brows slanted downward, disgusted by the idea. The fact he can't do anything is irritating him. How come no one tried to file a report or anything? People tried, I tried, we tried. But unless you either have money or a higher reputation, heck, even both, no, they wouldn't even bother to listen. Which is why some students try their hardest to get up the ranks, to be part of the higher class. All of that just to be respected? CROWE didn't say anything to you but a nod. And the hierarchy. CROWE lets out a sad laugh. This system is kind of a if you feel it thing. You don't really feel it, much less see it unless you've been at its mercy. It's a dog-eats-dog world out there, Sean. You'll never know who is the next victim. A soft, sad smile made its way on his face. Which is why I strive to protect you. Alright, both of those sound so... You were left to your thought process to what CROWE told you about the newfound information. This probably explains the bullying and how the school is handled. Your position in the city is just a second priority. Heck, maybe not even a priority at all. I just don't understand how you could be here for 2 years and not know any of this. That means if I ever want to help keep my family's farm up, I have to make it up there. CROWE nodded before continuing. Once you're up there, you'll have a better life. You'll be respected. You'll be rich. People would do as you tell them. That's messed up. Did people ever protest? CROWE, however, did not answer, as if scared that someone would hear him. He remained quiet, only giving you a look that probably says that things did not go well. Alright, you refuse to ask for more elaboration. That reminds me, Sean. CROWE starts. You never told me as to how or why you chose this university. Your family owns farms, correct? You bit your lip as you thought of home. We do, but I wouldn't say we're doing well. I'm sorry to hear that. It's okay, really. It's my burden to carry, not yours. And I'm gonna work hard for it. Anything. I'll do anything. Your eyes widen at the words that the well-dressed man said. No, I refuse! Sean, I thought I told you to stay inside. You're not taking this farm. My home! You cut your father's words off, marching towards the tall man with loud and heavy footsteps. The tall man, however, raised a brow at you, raising his hand to halt his men. His deep magenta eyes then turned to look straight in your eyes. It sent a chill down your spine. Whoa, a bit feisty, seeing that this is our first time meeting, right? Let me introduce myself first. My name is... But you may call me Mr. Z. And as for our little agenda, how about this little lamb? If you manage to pay off your debt for the next 5 years, I'll let you off the hook and let you keep your land. 5 years? You can handle that. Maybe working 3 jobs would do it for you. Heck, even 4. He tuts, waving a finger in front of your face. He looks down at you, reminding you of your place, a mischievous smile appearing on his handsome features. But I have some conditions you need to meet. You went silent. Your heart starts pounding in your chest as you kept eye contact with the sharp magenta orbs. I want you to stay in the city. The city? But we can't even afford to take her to college. What more, moving in the city? The man merely gives your father a side glance, making the old man freeze on his feet before returning his gaze back to you. No need to worry, she'll be under my jurisdiction, of course. I'll provide for her education and accommodation. Suddenly he burst out in laughter, throwing his head back a bit as if he just heard a very funny joke. See, I'm not that cruel. But just like I said before, I want you to pay off your debt. Land doesn't come in cheap, darling. And I've been very patient with how long this land's payment's been postponed. A sudden jerk on your collar made your heart jump. His face now mere inches away from yours, his brows furrowed in anger and filled with spite. Sean! Not one step, old man! He screams at your father, not sparing him a glance as he kept his hold on your collar. You try to claw his hands away from it, but to no avail, seeing that you are losing more air the more you struggle. Listen here, punk. I don't care what kind of method you're gonna do in order to make money. A dark smile appeared on his lips. It sent a shiver down your spine. Being a good citizen, and get a part job like the rest, or, work at the strip clubs. Legal or illegal, I don't freaking care. As long as you reach the amount, darling. If not, well, you can say goodbye to your little farmland. He says that, but there was a gleam in his eye that is telling you that that's not all. Letting go of your collar, he steps back as you greedily take in the air that you lost. Tears making its way towards your eyes, threatening to drop. How far behind are we on payments, father? What is it? A month? 2 months? 3 years? So, little fawn, what is it gonna be? You bit the bottom of your lip. You turned to look at your father. His eyes were clearly telling you to decline. You didn't want to comply to this man's words, much less take his offer. You think he might throw you another form of debt for letting him fund you to go to the city. There was something about this man that screams dangerous. But you were too desperate to not lose your home, your only home. Tick-tock, sweet thing. I haven't got all day. The tall man's gaze still fixed on you, waiting for your answer. Do you accept? But you're nearing the end of the school year and you cannot afford to go back again. Not with this debt. Credits alone isn't enough to cut it. Whenever you think about it, you keep seeing the tall man's ever-sharp magenta eyes burning into you. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth and a stinging feeling in your chest. Your heart aches as you stare back at a crow's own azure eyes. And you're right there, Sean. He's zoned out a bit. If I get to be part of the higher class, then I can have a better chance in life, right? Crow was surprised at your sudden enthusiasm, but nodded regardless. That's right. As you give Crow a reassuring smile, you clenched your fist. Then I'll work hard to show those higher class that I am worth their time. Crow chuckles and nods. You know that he's got your back. Then Crow raised his hand and tucked a loose strand behind your ear. You sensed him placing something soft, and you reached out to touch what felt like petals. Wait! That looks good on you. What is it? Crow then leads you to a nearby pond. You looked and saw your reflection. On your hair is a red carnation. Oh, I didn't know carnations grow here. Girl, I thought you work in this garden. Crow only chuckled, fixing the flower on your hair. Crow looks around for a while, basking in the various beauties of flora. What do you think carnation means? You tilted your head, making sure the said flower doesn't fall from your head as Crow continued on with his talk. Passion flower means hope, while carnations mean... I couldn't seem to remember. He remembers, he knows. What do you think it means, Sean? You thought for a while, knowing some carnations are to be found in bouquets. I know it means love. I know it means love. Well, it has to be something romantic. They're often a perfect gift to family and loved ones. Is that so? I might have to look up what it means then. He knows, he knows. He just wanted me to say it. Your eyes met his, and for a moment his gaze lingered. Were his eyes always this blue? You never noticed before. The way his lashes flutter and touch his cheeks when he blinks. His plump lips are always glistening whenever sunlight hits them. His eyes went half-lidded as he leaned closer and closer. And as if in a trance, your eyes slowly start to close. Wait, y'all, if I lean in, is he gonna die again? Is he gonna die again if I lean in? I'm gonna lean in and we'll just see what happens. Okay, let's just see. As if you lost control of your body and started moving on its own, you lean closer as well. Your eyes now closed, feeling his breath near your own lips as he draws closer and closer. Oh! Of course we had to be interrupted. Of course. What did she say? CROWE, we better get going. And then he said, of course, Brittany. Freak you, Brittany. Your eyes popped open and you quickly backed away. CROWE backed away as well as he waved to Brittany. Brittany just raised a brow at the both of you before shrugging it off and leaving the greenhouse. CROWE sighed, seemingly disappointed before giving you his hand for you to take. We should get going. You pouted at the moment ruined before accepting his extended hand and left the greenhouse with CROWE. Dang it! You and the rest of the group got back inside the campus. Everyone already went to their respective classes. I'm going to head back first. I see you in class, Sean? Of course. CROWE didn't walk away just yet. He stood there for a while, contemplating something before shaking his head and walking away, a tint of red touching the tip of his ears as he walked. You spot a familiar head of raven green, and right behind him is a shorter individual. Saul noticed you first and went to you, a noticeable skip in his steps. Hey, Saul, and who might this be beside you? Hi there, you're friends with Sunny? Sunny? Sunny! He pats Saul at the back, causing the taller male to jerk slightly forward. Saul gives him an irritated look, observing the way his face is slowly turning red. You know, 'cause he's such a sunshine, he's Sunny. You let out a small giggle, shifting your eyes towards Saul as he catches your gaze on his. Upon landing eye contact, Saul quickly averts his gaze away from yours, holding up his hand as he tries his hardest to hide his face away. Like a nickname. Yes, Sunny loves the nickname I gave him, right, Sunny? Saul remains silent, still refusing to meet your gaze. That's adorable. For a moment, the three of you are silent before the shorter male speaks up once more. You sure have taste, Sunny. She's very pretty, like you said. A blush makes its way to your face. Scratching the back of your head, you bit your bottom lip as you let out a small thank you. Anyway, nice to meet you. My name's Hugo. I'm this big old grumpy's best friend. Sean, a pleasure to meet you too. He extends his hand for you to take, in which you merely accept, shaking it and putting it back on his side, a smile on his lips as he did so. Are you both heading to your next class? Hugo laughed, a hand on his chest as if you told him a very funny joke. Actually, I have a better idea. Let's skip class. Skip class? Yeah, it'll be fun. Why does it keep skipping? Oh, Saul here has been meaning to ask you oh! He wanted to ask us out. Saul gave Hugo a punch on his ribs, making the shorter male choke out the words he was supposed to say as he doubled over and clutched his stomach. Let's ditch. Hugo just gave him a glare. Saul ignored him as he anticipated your answer. Hanging out with those two sounds fun, but you remember your next class with CROWE. Maybe you can. No, last time we skipped class, this time we won't. I'm not gonna skip class. I'm sorry, I couldn't bear to skip on the second day. Saul didn't say anything as his shoulders slumped, indicating his obvious disappointment. But there was something else in the dullness of his eyes. You were interrupted by Hugo. That's alright, Sean, but promise you'll hang out eventually. On a weekend then, I'm sure. Wait, Saul spoke, making you and Hugo look at him. Can I at least take you to your next class? Oh, okay, wait a minute, Saul, okay. He asked you. There was a hint of desperation within his reddish-orange eyes. You don't see what's the problem with this, so you agreed? Well, I'll see you at the usual, Saul. Hugo waved to the both of you before walking off. Well, let's go, shall we? Saul nods as you walk along, Saul following beside you. You and Saul walk through the hallway towards your next class's classroom. You couldn't help but check on Saul. He seems nervous? You look down and see that his hand is shaking. No, I can't take his hand. I can't take his hand. Unfortunately, I can't take his hand because, like, we're focused on CROWE. We're focused on CROWE. As much as I want to, keep walking. You didn't bother with him anymore as you kept walking. His shaking hand eventually was shoved in his pocket as you both resumed your walk. Oh, I feel bad! You finally reached the front of your classroom door. You peeked inside through the door's window and saw CROWE on his usual seat already. You turned your attention back to Saul. Thank you for escorting me to my class, Saul. Oh, it's not a problem. His tiny smile didn't last long on his face, however. His shoulders slumped down. Aww! Though I could have wished you would come with us. Maybe next time, Saul. Maybe we can hang out on a weekend or on a free schedule. Sure. His words contradict his expression as it lacks enthusiasm. Just then, the door to your classroom opened, and there you met eyes with CROWE. CROWE's eyes lit up once he saw you. Ah! There you are, Sean, and just in time for the next class. Oh? He was about to greet you, but felt Saul's presence beside him. And who might this fellow be? A classmate of yours? You could say that. CROWE, this is Saul. This is the first time I'm introducing them. He's from my art class. Saul, this is CROWE. Pleasure to meet you, Saul. CROWE extended out his hand for Saul to shake. Saul just stared at it. Well, this is awkward. A few awkward seconds passed before eventually he took CROWE's hand. Okay, thank you. Saul, however, wasn't regulating his strength as he gripped CROWE's hand with much force. CROWE winced from the pressure but didn't say anything before Saul eventually let go of his hand. Saul then turned to you. First of all, CROWE looked so done with it. They both look so done with each other. I should be going now, Sean. I'll see you soon. Kind of wished you could have come with. He sighed, reaching out to tuck a loose strand of hair away from your face, earning him a small blush from you. Doing this right in front of CROWE is crazy. Saul turned on his heel and walked off. You looked at his retreating figure before CROWE eventually tapped your shoulder. We should get going. With one last glance at Saul's retreating figure, you turned around and got inside your classroom. You got to your usual seat. CROWE takes his usual seat by the window in front of your own seat, waiting for the classroom to settle down as your professor comes in. All right, class, settle down. You all better turn in this upcoming paper if you don't want to end up having no grades in your card. And that means your professor slams down his thin notebook, the loud slap echoing through the room. You won't be able to graduate. Don't even think about making it up to the higher class with a weak mindset. And now for today's class, I'd like you all to think of a short story based on any type of literature. Bonus points if you can source out where you got your inspiration along with references. I'll be checking those the most. You hear a few whispers from a few of your classmates as they talk with each other. Unfortunately for them, your professor notices them as he slams his thin notebook again on his desk, making some of you jolt from your seats. Now, I can allow you all to head to the library to do your research or stay here and brainstorm. You may begin. CROWE stands up from his seat, gathering his things, then turning towards you. I'm going to the library. Would you like to join me? You give him a nod, earning a smile from him as he makes his way towards the exit. Crow waits for you as you gather your things before leaving the classroom into the library. Alright! Unlike lunchtime where everyone is free, the library contains only a few students, some either doing their student studies while some doing their own research. Same spot then? You read my mind. Of course, it's one of our favorite spots. With a smile on his face, he makes his way toward your favorite table near the windows and settles down. Alright, meanwhile, you make your way towards the tall bookshelves. Scanning through each spine of each book, you try to look for something that might catch your interest. Minutes passed and nothing seemed to catch your fancy. You sighed upon realizing this predicament. Giving up, you decided to just pick the closest book and hope for the best and hope it's decent enough for your paper. Feeling a thick book, you pull it out, nearly dropping it. It's heavy? Regaining your balance, you held into the thick book properly and finally checked the title of the massive tome, The Biography of Marie Antoinette. Your eyebrows raised in mild curiosity. This might actually work! You flip it open and you are met with a very well-drawn portrait of a very prestigious-looking woman. Flipping through more pages, your eyes land on a drawn figure of the same woman, but her kneeled before a guillotine. Quite a spoiler, but you read through the text below the illustration. The execution. Such a gruesome end, you thought. Deciding on this book, you tucked it under your arm for safekeeping. You take one last look around the bookshelves, maybe finding something of the same genre. You notice a peculiar book sticking out at the very edge of the bookshelf. It was a bit worn out and dirty. You're kind of wondering how it ended up there. You inched closer to it. The spine didn't have anything on it besides a few worn edges, bent and littered with dust. You got on your tiptoes as you reach out to grab the book. However, the moment you grab it and pull out, the bookshelf started wobbling. You immediately stopped. I am very curious, I'm not gonna lie. I wanna see what happens if we pry it out. With determination, you held onto the shelf, making sure not to make it wobble any further as you take a firm grip on the worn book. Come here, you. I got it. Whoa. The bookshelf wobbles from the force of you pulling the lone book, threatening to push you down, making your heartbeat quicken from the sheer thought of getting crushed under the tall shelves. You quickly held out your arms wide as you try to rebalance the shelf, hoping it was enough to stop it from shaking. A few books fell then and there, making you wince. But you successfully stabilized the shelf. You let out a breath you didn't realize you were holding. Okay, but what's the book? Hope no one heard that. Anyway, what is this? You flip open the cover only to see a blank page. No author whatsoever save for the paper. The edges of it a bit yellow from age. The dust isn't helping either. Okay, you went through a few more pages and there you finally get to see some printed words on it. Whoa, the various torture devices and executions of the medieval times. How the freak did this end up here in the school library? Then again, I might be able to get some material out of this. You shrug, closing the book. You tucked it under your arm with a large biography book and left the area, returning to where Crow is settled. What in the world was that all about? Welcome, Sean. Have you found anything useful for your paper? Took a while. Nothing caught my eye from the books but this one. You raised the large book and showed it to Crow. The Queen herself. That's pretty interesting. What kind of paper are you going to make out of it? I was thinking maybe about how a tyrant royal turned good but was punished regardless of her actions. How does that sound? Crow was silent for a few seconds, making you tilt your head. Maybe he didn't hear you correctly? You okay there? Okay. Y'all like to interrupt me. You okay there, Crow? Is it not a good idea? That actually sounds nice, Sean. Can I ask what's the inspiration? Oh, well, I couldn't stop thinking about our conversation back in the greenhouse, so maybe I could base off some things there. Is that so? That's very smart, Sean. Why, thank you. You did a little bow, tipping your imaginary hat as you did. Crow chuckles at your silly gesture before you two settled down on your seats. You skimmed through the book, taking a few notes here and there for important bits you could use. Feeling your wrist aching a bit, you stopped scribbling and stretched out your arms, a few squeaks of satisfaction escaping your lips as you can feel the effects of your stretch. At the corner of your eye, you notice how Crow's eyebrows tend to furrow as he goes through his books. Aw, hey! You can feel his legs shaking from underneath the table. The occasional tapping of his pen fills the quiet library. He looks so studious. You took a peek on his supposedly report paper, expecting some few words written on it, but instead you were met with a blank sheet, void of words or even a droplet of ink. You're starting to worry. He seems restless about something. Tap his shoulder? Crow jolts in surprise, his eyes wide open upon the sudden contact. His legs stop shaking as he turns his full attention to you. Yes? Is something the matter, Sean? Are you alright, Crow? Yes, I'm alright. What makes you say that? Maybe he's thinking about Saul walking us to class. You seem stressed. Let me guess, writer's block? You can say that. Crow lets out a nervous laugh. Then he went silent. His eyes were turning to stare down on his blank sheet of paper. The silence is quite suffocating. The air now is a bit awkward. Your will to write dissipates and was replaced by your concern over the mail beside you. Say, I've got a bit of a scenario for you to play along with, Sean. Huh? Crow's previous gloomy attitude was replaced by a playful tone, facing his body towards you with his pen set down, discarding his thoughts from the paper. His sudden change in demeanor caught you by surprise, but he did not spare you a moment to question him as he raised a finger. Imagine yourself living in the same time as the Queen, and that you were given the chance to actually befriend her, even though you came from nothing. You often question how you managed to befriend the Queen herself. She's been nothing but kind to you, often inviting you to her parties and giving you the fanciest gifts ranging from dresses to jewelries. Now here comes my first question. What do you think of the Queen? Y'all, wait a minute. Is Crow some kind of higher up, but he's like in disguise? I'm gonna say I see her as a friend. I feel like he's talking about himself. I'm gonna say I see her as a friend. Well, I'd honestly see her as a friend. She clearly sees me as one. Sure, I'd be a bit embarrassed from the amount of gifts she's giving me. If I was in that situation, I'd be thankful and probably say that her friendship is enough and no amount of physical gifts can measure the gratitude I'm feeling towards her. Crow was silent, a bit awed by your answer. Then a smile broke free on his face. Scratching his cheek, his smile grew wider towards you. Such a noble response. Expected from you, Sean. Now, what is that supposed to mean? You pout, crossing your arms in the process. Crow merely chuckles. Then you feel his hand brush against yours, squeezing your hand in the process. You swear you can feel your face heating up. Oh, but the scenario isn't over yet. It's not? Nope, here's the follow-up scenario. He sits up properly, removing his hand on yours as you anticipate his next words. Crow takes a breath, almost contemplating his next words before speaking. Huh? What if, one day, you decided to go out of her palace, wanting to either do groceries or even visit your family? And there is where you see a group of people. They're all mad, each throwing one profanity to another. Upon coming closer, it was about the Queen. You decide to come closer, they're in a heated debate, but the loudest one, a farmer, loudly proclaims on how the Queen betrayed them. What? How the Queen is nothing but a greedy higher-up, using the commoners' hard-working labor for her to throw parties, leaving them starving. Then the other side speaks up, a woman saying that the farmer is wrong, and that the Queen has been nothing but good to them, providing enough gold and food to keep them afloat. A child came and held onto the woman's leg, confirming her words, as if it weren't for the Queen, the children wouldn't have homes. There you soon realize that they're a group of nuns, and behind them is an orphanage. A few children peeking through the windows as they try to comprehend what is going on and why they're screaming. Having had enough of the fight, you return to the Queen's castle, but just when you thought you escaped the circulating argument about the Queen, you hear a few whispers from nobles along the hallway. The Queen is nothing but a fraud. She is nothing but a selfish chick. She is doing nothing but bringing misery to the people around her. She doesn't fit to be a noble. But that's pretty odd, isn't it? They're the same group of nobles who the Queen helped and tried to stop war from raging. Why are they talking about her? Is there something you aren't aware of about the Queen? Or are they doing it out of pure hatred? Huh. He opened his eyes, the light still absent within his blue orbs as he focuses his gaze on your own. I'm confused. He leans a bit back, his form straight and firm. Now, here's where you come in, Sean. Which side do you believe in? The Queen who has been nothing but kind to you? Or the rumors circulating around her of being a neglectful noble, a selfish woman, a tyrant? He says the word tyrant with so much venom, he spat it out like poison in his teeth. You thought long and hard on his little scenario, multiple thoughts swirling in your head. This all seems so complicated. Yeah, literally. Take your time. It's fine for you not to respond. Just tell me. I would love to hear your answer, Sean. Man, what would I think? What would I think? I genuinely feel like I can't answer that. But I'm gonna say I'll believe in the Queen because I feel like he's referencing himself. So I'm gonna say I believe in the Queen because I just want to say, kind of subtly say I believe in him. I believe in the Queen. You do? I do. Even if the rumors say that she's a bad person. Even if she's the cause of so many people suffering under her reign. That's the loophole. It's just baseless rumors. If I want the truth, isn't it better to ask straight from the queen? If she is aware that she's causing people much suffering, then I'd rather take it, knowing that she was aware and proceeds to be honest with me rather than lie to me. For a moment, Crow was silent, his hands nestled on his lap. You couldn't see them, but you took notice of the way his shoulders trembled, his eyes gleaming. He's crying? I was not expecting this. Is he about to cry? Oh, I didn't mean to. Crow, I'm so sorry. You're too trusting. You know that, Sean? That could attract potential danger. Well, I just did what you told me, and that's answering your scenario. His playful demeanor came back quick, as if he did not just make up the most gut-wrenching scenario known to man. He laughs, holding his chest, as he wipes a stray tear away from the corner of his eye. What was the sudden scenario question for anyway? I just thought it would be a good idea for my paper. Am I right? You have to admit it was a good idea and can probably entertain your teacher for quite a bit. I can't believe you let me go through that brain exercise just for this silly paper of ours. Well, better get to writing, Sean. We're almost running out of time. What? What about you? Your paper's still blank. If I can make up that silly scenario, then I can absolutely make up another one on a whim. Plus, your response is enough to fill in my little writer's block. So I'd like to thank you for helping me. You're so good when it comes to writing stories, Crow. You should be a writer. I'll think about your suggestion. Stretching out your arms, letting out a sigh of relief. Looking at your paper that you made, you skimmed through it one last time. You were too caught up in the conversation with Crow, you nearly forgot about the worn book you brought along. You picked it up and started flipping through the first pages. Torture devices, execution devices. Why the freak are you reading this again? You turn to another page. On it is a well sketch of a tall and bulk man. Half of his face is covered by his hood, with a large axe settled behind him. Bro, this is literally basically what he did when he executed Crow. His arms are filled with scars, while around his neck is a chain collar. He looks like those killers you often see in slasher films. Underneath the illustration, it reads Executioner. Some executioners were feared by the public, while the rest respected them, but mostly people shunned them for their field of work. The old times sure were brutal. You mutter under your breath. Closing the book, you then stacked it on top of the other books you and Crow borrowed. Handing out your paper to Crow, he gladly accepts it and stacks on top with his own paper. Shall we head back? You nod along after you finish stacking the books you borrowed for the librarian or her assistant to get. I can't wait for the day to end. Same here. Crow chuckles as you and him left the library. What was the point of that book? The day eventually came to an end. Few rays of the sunset light shine through the hallways as you and Crow walked through the hallway. Do you have anything else to do today, Sean? Well, I have to do some quick grocery shopping before I go home. Well, in that case, would you mind me accompanying you? Really? I mean, it's fine if you don't have anything else. To do. I mean, it's fine if you don't have anything else to do. Like look for Brittany and the others? Not really. Besides, Daryl has after-class practice, same with Gio. As for Brittany and Jess, they're catching up on their business proposal. But don't you also need to catch up? I can do them tomorrow. I'd like to spend the rest of the day with you, Sean. Your voice got caught up in your throat. You can feel your face heating up. Stupid Crow, stupid feelings. All right then. Crow lets out a small cheer, kind of like a mini jump from that game with the Italian plumber. He said, Yahoo! It made you giggle a bit. Without wasting much time, you and Crow head out of the school campus. The sun slowly sets in the horizon after you and Crow finished up buying some groceries. Crow offered to carry your bags and walk you home all the way back to your apartment, just like the day before. We should do this every day. But don't you live on the other side of the city? Nothing wrong with that. Plus, my place isn't that far from the school anyway. So walking to your apartment and back is nothing to me. Don't tell me you're the kind of person who would travel from one city to another while saying it's walkable. Crow laughs, shrugging his shoulders as if saying maybe. I love walking, especially during the night, and most especially when the stars are out. I don't know how safe that is. I kind of agree with that. You stare at him up and down, your eyes often lingering on his hand. The temptation of holding it was gnawing at you, making you fidgety. This doesn't come unnoticed by Crow as he gradually slowed down until he came to a stop, setting down the groceries. You stopped as well, raising a brow in concern as he looked at you with keen eyes. Do you feel cold, Sean? No, what makes you think that? Without much of a warning, he takes both of your cold hands, cupping them in between his large ones as he begins to blow on them. Oh, wait a minute! His warm breath easing your cold fingertips. I feel like Saul is somewhere watching from behind a tree. Your hands are now warm, but they couldn't compare to the heat of your face, reaching to the tip of your ears. You keep shivering, so I thought I could warm you up a bit. I'm sorry I don't have a jacket. I doubt my vest could do much help. It's alright, Crow. You don't need to. Your face is all red. Are you cold? Do you want to hold my hand during our walk? Say less, baby boy. Let me hold you. You hang your head down, too flustered to utter a single word. Your request got caught in your throat as your shyness overwhelmed you. Rather, you stared at Crow's large hands wrapped around yours, not pulling away nor protesting against it. Crow noticed your averted gaze, your shy demeanor causing his lips to quirk up in a gentle smile. He almost chuckled when he realized how your eyes fixated on your joined hands. Freeing his right hand, Crow picks the groceries back up. His left hand closed around yours, holding it firmly but gently. You swear he gave you a little squeeze as he tugs you along, continuing on with your little walk. Drip? Drop? That's odd. Something the matter? Wait, is it raining? Oh! What seemed to be a soft drizzle suddenly turned into a wild downpour. You and Crow made a run for it, trying your best to keep yourselves dry as Crow shielded your groceries from getting wet. Thankfully, the sight of your apartment complex came to view from a few feet away. A relieved sigh escapes past your lips. You turn to Crow, who was doing everything he could to keep your bag dry, not even caring about the droplets of rain rolling down his cheek and his damp hair that clung to his face. Just a few more steps, Crow. We're almost there. You ran up the road, hearing Crow's heavy footsteps following behind you. All of a sudden, Crow stops. His head turned to the bushes, his eyes growing wide as he opened his mouth in a near gasp. Crow, what's wrong? Oh, one sec. Let's get these groceries and you to a cover. Huh? What happened? What? Crow hastily shoves your semi-damp plastic bag towards you, your arms suddenly carrying the weight of your groceries. You blinked a few times in confusion. Crow? What? Whoa! Without much warning, Crow lifts you off the ground. With one of his arms around your shoulders and the other under your knees, he hoists you up. The shock from your feet leaving the pavement floor caused you to shriek as you clung around Crow's neck, feeling his damp body press against yours. Okay. Jericho, what on earth? Crow runs up to your apartment, carrying you like your weight meant nothing to his arms. But why did he look at the bush? Was someone in the bush? He seemed distracted, your protest going unheard. Once he makes it to your doorstep, he sets you down before turning around and running back the way he came. Get inside the apartment. I'll be right back. You gripped your grocery bag tight as you stared at his figure, your heart drumming quite loudly within your chest. Did he just pick me up and carry me all the way to my apartment that easily? He barely even grunted. For someone so lean, you never expected him to actually lift you up like a sack of feathers. You started wondering if he works out. You were too dazed, head afloat from what just occurred, to realize that Crow finally came back. You gasped as you took in his entire body, now awfully drenched from head to toe, his hair dripping with water. His shoes sloshed as he walked, and his wet clothes clung to his skin. Oh boy. You noticed his vest missing. Then you spot it in his arms, wrapped around something. A cat? Oh! A sound came from the bundle that he carried in his arms, causing you to snap out of your thoughts. Did I just hear his vest meow? Let's get inside before we get any colder. Okay, you know what? That's actually really wholesome. I really thought it was Saul hiding in the bushes. Once you and Crow made it inside your apartment, the first thing you did was grab 3 different towels. One for you, one for Crow, and one for your new little friend. I couldn't bear to leave him in the cold rain. Poor guy must have gone abandoned by its mother. Wrapped in the small towel is a tiny black kitten. You know, we should be thankful that my landlord wasn't at his usual desk, right? Pets aren't allowed here? Other than that, Crow paused a bit, understanding where you're coming from. A low chuckle left his lips, scratching his wet cheek. He probably won't appreciate the puddle we made on his doorstep. Haha, precisely. You both let out a small, awkward laugh, hoping that you wouldn't get caught the following day by the cameras around. Shoving the thoughts aside, you and Crow stare at the kitten, now wrapped within the towel, its beady eyes seemingly staring at both of you before breaking into mews and meows. You can feel your heart melt, and so did Crow's. I'll take care of this little guy for now. You should probably dry up, Crow. Is that okay? I didn't expect to actually end up staying in your place. I won't be long, though. I'll get out of your hair as soon as I dry up. I honestly don't mind you staying a bit longer, though. It's not a problem. I don't want you to catch a cold because of me. Well, we'll take turns then. After I dry up, I'll take care of the kitten next. Let me get you something to change. There really is no need for it. Not giving him a chance to protest, you quickly head out to your bedroom. Will he fit anything? Rummaging through your drawers and cabinets, you try to find something that would fit CROWE. Then you remembered the oversized shirt you received during last sports day. You never understood why everyone needed to buy that shirt, but when you got yours, they ran out of your own size and you had no choice but to accept the shirt that was one size bigger than yours. Taking it out of the drawer, you make your way back. You head back to the living room, seeing CROWE, who remained still in the spot. His shirt had partially dried and he had taken the kitten into his arms. The little creature was snugly wrapped in its warm blanket, reminding you of a burrito. The sight of CROWE gently holding the kitten pierced a soft spot in your heart. This view was to die for, and you could have spent a few more seconds admiring it had you not noticed CROWE's shoulders shaking from the cold. Yeah, girl, give him the towel. You're shivering. And then nothing I can't handle. Lies. The cat is doing a better job at getting warm than you. You teasingly roll your eyes at CROWE as you shove the shirt and another fresh towel in his direction. He chuckles, forced to give up the kitten to you as he accepts the change of clothes. Carrying the kitten in your arms, you lead CROWE to your bathroom and he thanks you before stepping in and closing the door behind him. Hearing the tweak of the valve and the familiar sound of the shower running, you remember how CROWE shivered all the way to the bathroom. You turn your heater up a bit before settling back down on the couch. You return your attention to the kitten, its fur now dry thanks to you and CROWE. The small feline looks up at you and meows, its little beady eyes staring up at yours. You put a finger on its head, petting it gently. Meow! You must be hungry, little guy. You're lucky I went grocery shopping. Scooping the tiny kitten in your arms, you make your way towards their kitchen. Setting the kitten down on the counter, you rummage through your fridge and cupboards for a clean bowl. You pick up your grocery bag from the floor, placing it on the kitchen table as you look for the almond milk you remember getting. Heating the milk just warm enough, you observe the kitten as it breaks free from its warm confinement and looks around. The cat shivered in fear and caution of the unknown territory, yet remaining curious enough to look around. Setting the warm bowl of milk in front of the cat, you grabbed a chair, patiently waiting as it creeped closer to the bowl. It takes one lap of the milk, then another, then one more, before it happily drinks it up. A warm smile makes its way to your face. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, CROWE! Seems you've got yourself all settled in. You hear CROWE's slightly amused voice and you turn around to face him. You momentarily stop at the sight of him standing there, wearing the fresh shirt you handed him with the towel around his neck. Now out of its usual braids, his hair was let loose, a few droplets dripping from the semi-dry strands. Thank you for letting me use your bathroom, Sean. You don't mind me hanging my vest, right? I don't mind. In fact, I can just hand you your stuff tomorrow if you'd like. CROWE didn't answer you as he pointed his gaze downwards, dipping his head in an attempt to conceal the slight tint of pink brushing along his cheeks. He rubs his arm, a hint of embarrassment in his voice. Sorry, I didn't think I would end up staying here a bit. But I'm thankful either way. Also, isn't this the first time I've been to your apartment? You've got a nice place. Oh shoot, he's actually right. You never really got any visitors save for your father or your landlord. Other than that, you never had anyone in here until now. And it's CROWE too. Just you two. Alone. You know? I'm probably talking too much. You should get changed too. CROWE's voice snaps you out of your thoughts and you look up to realize that he had already picked up the kitten from the counter. CROWE holds it in his arms, the feline faintly purring as it snuggles close to his chest, relishing in his warmth. Never thought you'd see the day you'd be jealous over a cat, but here we are. Getting up from your chair, you accompany CROWE back into the living room before going to change as well. The sound of the shower head running fills your ears as you look down on your bathroom's white tiles, observing the water run down towards the sinkhole. The water's heater helped you warm up a bit, but you couldn't help the thoughts running through your mind. Thoughts that were mostly consumed by CROWE and the cat. He's going to keep it. Why did he save it? And most importantly, how long is he planning to stay here? You look up, seeing his soaked vest and polo hanging on one of the bathroom railings. You should probably throw that in the dryer along with yours after. You let out a sigh, not wanting to waste any more water, and probably spend the next 30 minutes contemplating your life in the shower. You got out, dried yourself, and got dressed. You return to the living room, finding that CROWE had made himself comfortable on your couch, with the cat happily settled in his lap as he gives it a few pets. Sensing your presence, CROWE lifts his head and his eyes perk upon landing on your figure. Welcome back. The cat's starting to relax. It's almost as if it belongs in this place. He chuckles. You made your way to him and you sink in the couch right by his side. You gaze at the cat curling up in his lap and purring away in content. You bit your bottom lip. Cat 2, Sean 0. Have you thought of a name yet? Actually, no. I'm never really good with names. How about you? Have you thought of a name for it? He tilts his head to the side, awaiting your answer to his inquiry. Oh! Let's give the cat a name. What should we name the cat? So it's black. Let's name it Raven. I feel like that it reminds me of like Crow, you know? Crow and Raven. Crow smiles, his lips slightly turned upwards. He picks up the cat and your little furry friend looks at him, then to you, and finally to its surroundings before it decided it had enough of Crow suspending it midair. It wriggled, protesting for Crow to put it back down. I think Raven is a wonderful name, Sean. I knew I could count on you for naming it. Anyway, you want something to eat? I can heat up some Hot Pockets we bought. That would be wonderful. The sun had set beyond the horizon hours ago, and you could see the sky painted black from your window. With the rain still pouring just as hard as before, Crow decides to stay a little bit longer to enjoy your company. The kitten sleeps soundly on a nearby makeshift bed that you made together with Crow. You sit beside him on the couch, the living room dimly lit with nothing but the television, running what seemed to be a slasher film. Okay, hear me out. Why did they have to make the serial killer so hot in this movie? What is this conversation? Excuse me, he did not want to hear that. I mean, look at him. He's clearly a pretty boy with that blonde hair and charming smile. And that makes sense, right? Especially with this killer in the movie. Cunning and charming, he's a good manipulator, having to entice people so that he can kill them in the end. Throws the detectives off, right? I guess that makes sense. They did a good job casting whoever the killer is. He's pretty good. You know the actor? No, how about you? Surprised you don't know him. He's one of the best multi-talented idols in Titus City. Oh. Oh! Is this the guy? Y'all, is this the guy that we're in debt with? You cast your eyes back to the screen and you're greeted by the serial killer's actor. Golden hair dyed with pink tips, rose pink eyes that shone brightly, and a smile that was so alluring and magnetic, it was hard to tear your gaze away. No, I think this is someone else. Because the other person had magenta eyes. This is rose pink. He almost looks like an actual angel. He is known as Iris. Besides being an actor, he's also a singer and a model. Wow, sounds like a big shot. He's also Jess's favorite actor. Did you know Jess owns the biggest fan page for this guy and has been recognized by him and many fans? I am not surprised, actually. Really, that's quite an achievement. I agree. With a face card like that, how could anyone not fall for him? Don't tell me he's your type. Let me just say nonsense. No, yeah, sure he's handsome, but he's not really my type. For a second, Crow's eyes flickered with hope before disappearing. Instead, a smile is plastered on his face. That's good. Huh? Nothing? Yeah, okay. The room fell silent afterwards, with neither of you uttering a word. As the television became background noise, you unconsciously fiddle with your fingers. You found it difficult to focus on the movie as you start feeling conscious of the male beside you. From your peripheral vision, you try to discreetly check up on Crow, only to realize that his whole attention was already on you. Your heartbeat races. Hey, Sean, if given the chance, if you could have anything in the world, what would it be? Another one of your little trivia questions, Crow? You laugh lightheartedly, attempting to ease the atmosphere. Yet Crow did not seem to be on board, so you shut yourself up quickly. You bit your lips as you felt Crow leaning in close to your face, his breath brushing against your cheek. The movie becomes a muffled and incoherent noise as the rapid beating of your heart floods your eardrums. Why don't you answer first? He chuckles lowly, sending a shiver down your spine. Crow surprises you when he rests his head on your shoulder, the intimate gesture making your heart stop. Before you could say anything, he buries his face in the crook of your neck, making you freeze. You prayed he wouldn't hear just how loudly your heart is beating. Dodging the question this time, huh? Well, if I were to have anything in this world, he's gonna say I'd have you. I'd love to have more time. Oh, wait a minute. He redeemed himself. More time to be with you. More time to spend with you. Kinda selfish of me, huh? At this point, you aren't sure if he's talking to you or with himself. You glance at Crow from the corner of your eye, noticing his downcast gaze. He smiled at himself, but all you could see was that desperate expression he failed to suppress. You did not dare ask what was wrong. At a loss for words, you chose to remain silent. You stayed in that position with CROWE for what felt like a minute. The hurt on his beautiful face were playing in your head. You swallowed and lifted a hand, gently placing it on the back of his head. You relaxed when you felt CROWE ease up on your touch. Taking that as a sign, you proceed to stroke his hair, brushing along his now soft and dry locks between your fingers. I should probably get going. Oh, I didn't even answer the question. Already? He pulls away and looks at you straight in the eyes. Multiple swirls of emotion fill his dull orbs. Drowsiness, uncertainty, longing. With one last exhale, CROWE finally gets off of you and stands up. Dang it! A few groans escaping his lips as he stretches his limbs. With his hands on his hips, he gives you a smile. You couldn't shake off the feeling that it was done just to reassure you. The rain is slowing down a bit, plus it's getting quite late. I haven't contacted my relatives yet, so they might be really worried by now. Are you sure you don't want to stay the night, though? You want to say it so bad. You really, really want to, but you couldn't. You shouldn't. You clench the fabric of your shirt above where your painfully beating heart lies. You're probably right. Let me get your clothes from the dryer. I'll see you out. Thank you, Sean. You're the best of the best. Are you sure you'll be fine, CROWE? I already called my driver. I'll probably get an earful from him, but that's alright. You're rich enough to have a driver? They're probably going to question me about Raven, but I'll think of an excuse. I'm sorry I couldn't keep him with me, CROWE. No, it's alright. In fact, I already know who would be the perfect cat owner for them. With the kitten cradled in his arms, CROWE did a mock-up face of a grumpy person, exaggerating his expression, with his cheeks puffed and shoulders raised. You could only make a wild guess on the mysterious identity. It was a shame that your apartment had a no pets policy, and the fact that you know absolutely no one who could take care of the kitten. After talking it out with CROWE, he decided to take the kitten with him. Thankfully, you had a few spare boxes lying around, and you gave one for CROWE to place the kitten in. Today's been fun, CROWE. His brows raised in mild surprise, then a soft smile painted his features. With his dominant hand, he ruffles the top of your head, messing your hair a bit and earning him a chuckle. Hey now. I had fun too, Sean. See you tomorrow? Yeah, see you tomorrow. Please don't die. Whoa, wait a minute. You moved to close the door, but stopped by the sudden sensation of something soft landing on your forehead. Your eyes travel up, realizing that CROWE had just given you a tender kiss near your brow. Ah! While your face heated up, your brain short-circuited at the feeling of his soft lips lingering on your skin. Good night, Sean. He gives you a casual wave, Raven peeking out of his box to give you one last look, as if bidding you goodbye before finally closing your door. That tease! Okay, why is he texting his aunt? Tss. She's finally back, huh? Come on, Raven, let's go home. What did his aunt have to do with it? To be continued. I expected Saul to pop up out of nowhere and like, I don't know, just slice CROWE from the back. But luckily, CROWE is still alive. But man, a lot of things happen on the CROWE route. In fact, it seems like a lot more things happen on the CROWE route than even the Saul route. Anyways, I'm gonna end this video here. I will definitely be tuning in when day 3 comes out. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and join the squad, and I'll see you in the next video.
My shawty's up in here, this an anthem. Up in the room, still the beauty with a mask on. And it's late.